It was a cold and quiet night in the village hidden in the leaves. But then, the ground started to shake. No, it isn't an earthquake, it's the villagers making the very ground shake. How? Well, they are chasing a little boy who happens to be 6 years old. But the villagers doesn't see him as a little boy, they see him as the demon that attacked their village 6 years ago. His name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, or for short, Naruto Uzakaze. Naruto is very smart boy for his age. His intelligence can rival that of Nara. He found out who his parents was on his own and even knows about the QB being sealed in him. How did he found out his parents, you ask? It's not very hard when you think about it. I mean, what other man had blonde hair and blue eyes in the village? And there has been only one Uzumaki that stayed in the village. He wasn't mad at his Gigi from keeping it from him, he understood why he kept it from him, but his Gigi made him a promise. If he got stronger, he would give Naruto everything that belonged to his parents. But let's get back to the point. Naruto is running from the villagers as fast as he can. His speed was mid-genin, but that still wasn't enough because he had ninjas that hated him chasing him, and they were Chunin. Naruto turned left in an alley and kept running until it was a dead end. Hee, look at we got here. We finally got you cornered, demon, said a ninja with a Chunin vest. Please don't hurt me, whimpered Naruto. Naruto was scared for his life because tonight, October 10th, his birthday, the day when the nine-tailed fox attacked the village. And this is the night where the fox hunt happens. A shinobi took out a kunai and walked up to Naruto. Don't worry, demon, this won't hurt at all. The Chunin took the kunai and started to cut Naruto from his chest to the bottom left of his chin. Banned scar from the 7 deadly sins. Naruto screamed in anguish and it was heard throughout the whole village. While Naruto was getting beaten by the villagers, 6 Anbu, that were coming back from a mission, heard the blood-curdling scream that sent shivers down their back. These Anbu were dog, weasel, crow, cat, snake, and dolphin. The hell was that? Asked Snake. Cat, dog, and weasel were thinking hard. Hey, what's today date? Asked dog. October 10th, why? Asked crow in confusion. Oh shit, we need to hurry. Now, said dog as he took up to where the scream was. Wait, what's going on? Can someone explain it to me, what's going on? Asked Snake. The villagers are attacking Naruto. So we need to save him before it gets too late, said Cat. The Anbu took off to save him before it was too late. The villagers were still beating Naruto, but Naruto couldn't feel any more pain. Not because of shock, he couldn't feel pain anymore due to being beat mostly every night. The next thing Naruto knew, a kunai was coming at him at ridiculous speed. Everything started to go in slow motion for Naruto as his eyes started to burn. Naruto managed to dodge the kunai. Sharingan? Asked a shocked villager. How in the hell does he have the Sharingan? Asked another villager. Naruto looked at the puddle that was on the ground and saw his reflection. And to his surprise, he had the Sharingan with 2 tomo in each eye. Before he could say anything, he was kicked against the wall. He grunted even though it didn't hurt, it still knocked the wind out of him. The ninjas started kicking and punching him. Stop, leave me alone, what have I ever done to you people? I haven't done anything wrong. Just leave me alone, he yelled. Everything stopped. It had got quiet, too quiet for Naruto. He opened his eyes and saw something that was going to make him throw up the ramen he just finished eating. In front of him were the people that were chasing and beating him. But one thing was different. They were dead. All of them were dead, with huge thorns going through their bodies. Naruto got up and started walking around the dead corpses. Naruto was thinking what caused this, but he came to realize that he was the one that did it. But he noticed a black rose that was in moonlight. He walked up to it and picked it up. He stared at it, then looked at the thorns he created and recognized that they also had black roses on the thorns. Beautiful, said Naruto in awe. His favorite color was black and red. So when he saw the roses, he couldn't help but stare in awe. Black roses were rare throughout the elemental nations. Naruto stared at the rose and thought of something. He started to add more chakra to the rose in his hand. The rose started to bloom more and started to get bigger. While Naruto was doing that, he sensed 6 people above him on the roof. He looked up, with his Sharingan still activated, and saw the Anbu that only cared for him. He was about to wave at them until he felt enormous pain in his back. Urgh! Screamed Naruto in agony. While Naruto was in pain, his back started popping in different ways, and while that was happening, Naruto felt something growing out of his back. Due to being in so much pain, he fell to the ground, slipping into unconsciousness. Everything started getting blurry for Naruto. He heard the Anbu with a dog mask on call his name. Holy shit was the last thing Naruto heard before he went unconscious. Few minutes earlier, while the Anbu was trying to catch up to Dog, they were all hoping that Naruto was okay when they got there. They say Dog just standing and staring at something. "Dog, what's the matter?" asked Kat. She was worried because she cared deeply for little Naruto. When she saw that Dog didn't reply, she walked up and asked him again. All he did was point at what was below. When she looked down, she saw something that she will never forget. "Guys, what are you looking at?" asked Crow. "Come look and see for yourself. And before you do, I have to say something. I think Naruto has just unlocked a legendary Kekkei Genkai that rivals would release," said Dog. "Oh, it can't be that bad." "Fine, but don't say I didn't warn you, Snake," Dog said in a warnful tone. Snake shrugged, and the rest of the Anbu walked up and saw something terrifying. "What the fuck?" whispered Snake. "But how does he have thorn release?" asked Kat. She noticed that the thorns weren't green, they were black and painted with blood. "I don't know, but this looks like a massacre," said Dog, who was staring with wide eyes. "Is that a black rose in his hand?" asked Weasel with a raised eyebrow. He was shocked but didn't show it. "Yes, but where did it come from?" asked Crow. "It came from Naruto. Look at what he's doing," said Dog. Everyone look at little Naruto walk around the thorns that had dead bodies. They saw him walk up to the black rose and pick it up with sparkling eyes in awe. "Beautiful," they heard Naruto say in a happy tone. "Kawaii, he's so adorable," exclaimed Kat. Ever since Kat been around Naruto, she has been attached to him from day one. She would take Naruto out to eat and buy him clothes and teach him. She even taught him the basics of chakra control and kenjutsu. "He really does have a beautiful smile," Dog said to himself. He loved Naruto like a little brother he never had. He would have Naruto spend the night at his house sometimes and cook breakfast for him. "That little brat. His smile always warmed my heart." Snake smiled under her mask. She would be lying if she said she didn't love the little boy. One day she was feeling upset and Naruto asked what was wrong. She told Naruto that a friend had died while on mission. What Naruto did surprised her and made her forget about her problems. He gave her a hug and told her it was going to be okay. But before he left, he gave her a dango stick and gave her a bright smile and ran off. She couldn't believe that the little boy who was called a demon was nice, pure-hearted boy. She didn't have nothing against the boy, she just didn't know him that well. From that day forward, she always watched after the boy and they would talk and have dango. "You act like he is your son, Kat," Crow stated. "As far as I am concerned, he is my little kitten," stated Kat. She loved Naruto like he was her son. "What do you mean your kitten? You mean my little pup?" stated Dog. "Ayo, what the fuck?" Weasel said, shocked and shocking everyone else because Weasel barely said anything, let alone curse. What is it, Weasel?" Crow asked frantically. "Look at him. Look at his eyes," shouted Weasel. Everyone looked down, seeing Naruto looking up at them, smiling a bright smile, glad to see them. "Sharingan?" All of them shouted at once except Itachi. They saw Naruto that Naruto was about wave at them, but he started screaming and grabbed his back. "What the hell is happening him?" asked Kat as she was worried about Naruto. Guys, what's that growing out of his back?" asked Dolphin. What the shits, man? Where the hell you come from?" asked a terrified Snake. Dolphin's sweat dropped. I've been here the whole time." "Oh, well, remind me next time," said Snake. Dolphin's sweat drop increased in size. "I'll try to remember that," he answered back. Everything got silent. Everyone was looking at Naruto with a very shocked expression. "Well shit," said Weasel. "First thorn release, then an almost matured Sharingan, then beautiful black wings? My little kitten is going to be so strong," said Kat in a happy tone. "Kat, go get Naruto and take him to the hospital and put a genjutsu over his wings." "I'll go tell the Hokage about this," commanded Dog. "Got it. The rest of you, clean up this mess." "Yes, sir," said the rest of the Anbu. Inside Naruto's Mindscape, Naruto wakes up in a dark and humid room when he notices that he is laying in what feels like water. "Where am I?" Naruto asks as he starts rubbing his neck and feels a long scar. Naruto looks at his reflection and stares at the scar. Cool, Naruto exclaimed. Unknown to him, a certain fox was staring at him with a sweat drop. What's wrong with this kid? He sees a scar that he got from being beat and calls it cool? The hell type of container I have now? The fox thought. Oi, ya big ass furball, I know you there, I want to talk to you, shouted Naruto. The fox gained a tick mark on his head. Oh oi, I'm not a big ass furball. I'm the nine-tailed fox. The embodiment of hatred. Bow down to me, you foolish mortal. The fox huffed in pride, expecting Naruto to shiver with fear, but all he saw was Naruto staring at him with a bored expression. So you got a 2,000-inch pole stuck up your ass like an Uchiha? Don't compare me to those wretched Uchihas. The fox stated, very angry. Well, what's your name? I know Kyuubi can't be your name, asked Naruto. The Kyuubi was dumbfounded. Nobody asked what was his name ever before. It's Kurama, kid. Kurama said, a little nervous. Kurama. That's a cool name. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, or for short Naruto Uzakaze. Naruto finished with a bright smile. Kid, you have wings. Oh, I know. I saw them before I fell unconscious. Naruto said as he stated like it was nothing to worry about. Though I wonder how I got them. Probably her. Kurama said as he pointed at a woman. Hello Naruto-kun. The woman said as she came from out of the dark and into the light. She's beautiful, Naruto exclaimed while blushing a little. The woman blushed hard at the comment. He thinks I'm beautiful? The woman thought. Thank you Naruto-kun. That means a lot coming from you. My name is Kami, and I gave you wings as gift for your birthday, and I also gave you 4 more gifts. Kami stopped so Naruto can absorb what he just heard. When she got the nod to continue, she started again. Your second gift is being immortal. You can't be killed and you won't die of old age. The third gift is I'm gonna give you your fully matured Sharingan. Your fourth gift is when you get older and have fun with the women you love and you give them your mating mark, they also become immortal. Your fifth gift is being immune to any kind of poison. And I mean any kind of poison. And now Naruto-kun, can you please remove your shirt? I have to leave a mark, or more specific a tattoo, to show that I blessed you. It's a cross with wings, it will go on your back. Okay Kami-chan, said Naruto as he took off his shirt, and Kami was surprised to see Naruto with his shirt off. She thought she would see baby fat but was shocked to see a well-built 6-year-old. I mean, he's 6 with a 4-pack. Kurama was even shocked. Naruto-kun, do you work out? Oh yeah, I wanna be a ninja when I grow up. So I started training early cause I wanna try and join Anbu like my mother figure. Naruto said while smiling sheepishly and scratching the back of his head like his dad. Kami felt her heart melt seeing that smile from Naruto. I can't wait till he's older, I want him to be my first. Kami thought. You heard right folks. Kami is a virgin. She's been saving herself for the right man and she has found him. After she was done giving Naruto his tattoo, she gave Naruto an earring that was made with a real chain with a golden cross with diamonds. Naruto put the earring in his left earlobe. And for the last gift she gave him a ring so they communicate with each other. Thanks Kami-chan, this is the best thing anybody has ever done for me, said Naruto as ran and hugged her and gave her a kiss on the cheek that made Kami blush. Kid, come here. Okay Kurama. Naruto walked up to the gate and saw Kurama take out a huge scroll. Kid, this a fox summoning scroll. You will be the very first fox summoner ever. Just sign your name in blood and you'll be the first ever fox summoner. Kurama stated. As Naruto did that, he summoned an all-black fox with blood-red tips of fur on the tip of her tail and ears. As Naruto signed the contract, his canine teeth got longer and his ears got slightly pointy. After all that, Naruto started to disappear. Kurama ni, Kami-chan, what's happening? You are starting to wake up Naruto-kun. Don't worry, we will always be here for you if you need anything. And I'll always be watching over you. I gotta keep an eye on my future husband. Kami said while trying to hide her massive blush. Who husband? Was the last thing Naruto said before he left while blushing very hard. That kid is going to be something amazing, Kurama said before falling asleep. Outside world, Naruto was waking up when he felt 7 people chakra. As he sat, everyone looked at him. Yo, said Naruto. Everybody except Kakashi face palmed. They grow up so fast, said Kakashi as he wiped a fake tear from his eye. Naruto, my boy, how do you feel? Asked the third Hokage. I feel better, thanks for asking, Gigi. I met Kami and Kurama, or better known as the Kyuubi. Everybody jaw dropped on the floor after hearing what they just heard. Naruto, are you serious that you met the Kami? Asked the Hokage. Yeah, she was the one who gave me my wings, this earring, this ring and the cool tattoo on my back. Everybody saw the huge tattoo on his back and stared in awe. Gigi, I want to follow both my mother and other mother's footsteps. And who is this other mother you speak of, my boy? The third Hokage asked curiously. She's right there by you, said Naruto, shocking everyone who he was pointing at, even shocking the person who was being pointed at. Why, you think I'm your mother figure, Naruto-kun? Yugo asked with tears starting to show in her eyes. Of course I do. You taught me everything, bought clothes for me, taught me how to read and write, chakra control, you bought food and cooked for me when I was hungry. I even know it was you who always tucks me in at night, whether it's at my apartment or your house. I would be glad to call you my mom, blood related or not, adopted or not. The only reason why I haven't run away from this village is because of you and the rest of you guys. Mostly you. You gave me something that I always wanted. Love. And I just wanted to say that no matter what happens I will always love you. Ka-san. Yugo was so shocked she didn't know what to say. Only thing she could do was cry and run to Naruto and hug him tightly. I love you too, Sochi. Naruto eyes widened and started to cry, hugging his mother figure tightly as if she was going to slip away from him. Now look, Naruto-kun, we got you some gifts because it's your birthday. Yugo pulled out scroll and gave it to Naruto. Naruto looked at her with curious look and tilted his head to the right. Kawaii. He's so cute. Ka-san, what's this? Asked Naruto while looking at the scroll. It's a scroll, but you have to open it to see what's inside. Naruto nodded and opened, and it was a puff of smoke. After the smoke cleared, Naruto started to have tears in his eyes. Ka-san, are these? Yes, Naruto-kun. Those are the 2 katanas you wanted. Yugo said with a smile. You are the best, Ka-san, as he hugged Yugo. Anko gave Naruto a fox mask that was red and black. Kakashi gave Naruto a mask like his. Naruto happily grabbed the mask and put it on. You look good with that mask on, little brother. But I look cooler with it on, Kakashi said with a smirk. Huh, you say something, Kashi ni? Naruto said with an eye smile. Kakashi was taken back from what just happened. He got depressed and had a depressing cloud over his head while drawing circles on the ground while mumbling about, mean little brother. Anko was on the ground barely breathing from laughing at happened to Kakashi. Yugo was laughing with tears in her eyes. Shisui and Itachi was trying to comfort Kakashi, telling him it was okay. Iruka shivered thinking that Naruto might turn into a little Kakashi. Shisui gave Naruto the crow summoning contract. Itachi come up to Naruto and took out a piece of paper. Naruto poured chakra into this paper. Naruto did as he was told. Once he did, the paper split into many pieces, showed black flames and red lightning. So Naruto has Inferno style instead of fire style, a strong wind affinity and the strongest form of lightning? Interesting. I'll give you some scrolls on Inferno style and Kakashi can help you with the lightning part, said Itachi, and Naruto nodded and hugged him. Iruka gave Naruto some ninja gear and accessories. The third Hokage gave Naruto 2 more summoning contracts. The bat contract that came from his father and the black butterfly contract. Everyone was having fun until Naruto asked everyone a question. Can I join Anbu? Everyone was quiet. Sure, I don't see why not, I mean we'll train you, said Kakashi. Thanks, you guys are the best family ever. 7 years later. Get me Anbu Commander Kitsune, ordered the Hokage. Hi, Hokage-sama, said the Anbu as he disappeared in a swirl of leaves. A few moments later, a flock of crows came into the Hokage's room and materialized into a man who stood at 5 feet 10. You wished to see me, Hokage-sama? Kitsune, I got sulfur monosulfide rank mission for you. Do you accept? Yes, Hokage-sama. Very well. You are to go undercover at the academy and protect the last Uchiha. I don't care how you do it. Hell, you can even teach her how to use the Sharingan. Just protect at all cost. You can relax and be yourself on this mission since it's a long mission, but that doesn't mean you get lazy. Oh, and you might want to discipline one of your old Anbu, he is slacking off. Let me guess. Kakashi. Yep. Hokage-sama, can you excuse me for a moment? Sure, go ahead, Kitsune. Sigh, cat? An Anbu in a cat mask dropped down and bowed. Quote, yes, Commander? Mom, get up and stop bowing to me, you know I don't like that. Kitsune said with a sweat drop. Kat started chuckling. What do you need, Sochi? Oh right. As of right now you are Anbu commander until I come back, which is probably a while. Kitsune said with a warm smile. Kat was shocked her son just made her the Anbu commander. This was her dream as a child growing up. Sochi, are you sure? Kat asked with her voice cracking a little. Yep, you are the top pick for Anbu commander. And plus it's the least I can do after everything you done for me. You helped me fulfill my dream, so I'm going to help fulfill yours, Ka-san. I know mom had dream about being Anbu commander before she got pregnant with me, but her life ended short. Kitsune said with a sad small smile. But now, not only will you be the first female Anbu commander in the history of the Leaf but in the elemental nations as well. Kitsune said as he began to take off his mask. When took it off you would think that 4th Hokage was back from the dead. But it was Naruto. He had the 2 bangs of hair on each side of the face, same face structure of his father, but what was different was that he had his mother's beautiful violet eyes with hints of cold ocean blue in them. He also had his mother's short-tempered attitude. But he was scarier than his mother, way scarier. He also had his mother's verbal tick but know how to keep it under control. He's very tall for his age too. 5 feet 10 at the age 13. But you really can't blame him since his mother and father was tall. His mother being 6 feet 0, which is common with Uzumaki women. And his father being 6 feet 8. And he was well built for his age. And you can ask Tenzo to help with the paperwork, Ka-san. Okay Sochi. Before I go, what do you want to eat tonight? Kat asked. Ramen databoyo. Ah man, I did it again. Kat chuckles at her son's antics. Okay Sochi. I'll see you later. Love you, she said with a warm smile behind the mask. Love you too, mom. So old man, when do I start my mission? Tomorrow. I'll escort you since your mom is the new Anbu commander. The old Hokage stated. Okay Gigi, see you tomorrow then. Naruto says and disappears in black burning rose petals. Next morning, Naruto wakes up and gets dressed for the academy. He's wearing a fishnet shirt with a black coat that goes down to his leg. Just imagine Ban's burgundy coat when he departed from the 7 deadly sins. Black tight but not too tight Anbu pants, with steel-toe shinobi boots. He was also wearing the earring and ring that Kami gave him. He strapped both of his katanas on his back. He looked at himself. I'm the mirror. His mom had to get this jacket made just for him in case he wanted to use his wings. Before he walked out his room he did the summoning jutsu to summon a fox. It was the same fox he met all those years ago. Hey Akame, you want to go to the academy with me? Naruto asked. Sure, why not? It's not like I'm doing anything. Can I sleep on your head? Akame asked. Sure, I don't mind, Naruto said. Akame jumped and landed on his head. Naruto put on his necklace that his mother gave him for his birthday and hugged his mother goodbye and vanished in a murder of crows. He appeared right beside the Hokage, who was standing in front of the academy. Are you ready, my boy? Asked the old Hokage. I was born ready, Gigi, Naruto said with a smirk. Well then let's go, said the old man as he disappeared in fire shunshin. Naruto did the same, but the fire was black. They appeared in front of the door, standing side by side each other with Naruto towering the old man. The Hokage knocked on the door. They heard someone walk to the door and saw Iruka, but Iruka only saw the Hokage. Oh Hokage-sama, it's a pleasure seeing you today. What brings you on this lovely day? Iruka asked happily. Iruka, I have someone joining the academy today for the remainder of the year. He's someone you probably know already, the Hokage said with an evil grin that sent chills down Iruka back. Oh really? Who is he, Hokage-sama? Said Iruka, who was now sweating bullets. Slide the door and you'll see, said the Hokage, who was grinning madly now. Iruka was shaking while sliding the door. Once he slid the door open he saw nothing there. It was just dark, until he saw a pair of red Sharingan eyes. Iruka gulped and started trembling. The academy students were trying to figure who had their trembling so badly. The girls wondering if it was handsome-looking boy and the boys wondering if he was a cool dude. One girl had one thing on her mind though. This girl was Satsuki Uchiha. The last Uchiha. He must be strong to have a mere Chunin shaking and sweating like that. I got to see who he is. All the girls started blushing when they heard a deep husky laugh. Iruka, Iruka, Iruka. At this point the girls were a blushing mess. Even Satsuki had a minor blush just listening to the voice. Iruka, is this the way to greet your Surgi Gate little brother? Naruto said with a smirk that sent shiver down Iruka's whole body. Little brother? His little brother is making him shake like that, thought Satsuki. Nah Naruto. How's it going little bro? You've grown since the last time I saw you. We were the same height when you was 11. We were 5 feet 6 a time. How tall are you now? Asked Iruka. Iruka was scared shitless right now. Naruto towering over him and with Naruto staring at Naruto with his Sharingan wasn't helping at all. I'm doing alright if I do say so myself. And to answer your question, it looks like I got taller and you stayed the same height. And to answer your question, I'm 5 feet 10. 5 feet 10 and how old are you? Asked Iruka. Quote, 13 Iruka, 13. Naruto said. What the actual hell? We are midgets compared to him. The only tall student in here is Shino and he's only 5 feet 5. And I'm only 5 feet 3. Just who is this dude? Thought Satsuki. How about you come and introduce yourself Naruto? Said Iruka. Very well. Everything got quiet as the academy students were on the edge of their seats, especially Satsuki. Once Naruto walked, all the girls started blushing furiously, even Satsuki turned red as a tomato. Akame, wake up. I want you to meet everyone. Naruto said. Everyone was looking at him curiously until they heard little cute yawn. They all looked on top Naruto's head and saw a beautiful black fox with a red-tipped tail and ears. Naruto ni, are we at the academy? Asked Akame. Yes my little aka-chan, now be nice and say hello to everyone. Naruto said smiling. Hi everyone, and stop calling me that around people. Naruto ni, it's embarrassing. Akame stated with an embarrassed blush on her face. You know you like the name. What are you saying aka-chan? Are you saying you are embarrassed of me? I'm hurt aka-chan. Naruto said sounding very hurt to trick Akame. No, Naruto ni, I didn't mean it like that. You're the best big brother I can ask for. I'm not embarrassed of you. I get embarrassed by that name. I'm sorry ni-san, I'm really am. I love you ni-san. Akame said as she was on the verge of tears. The class was watching in awe. The Hokage was smiling a warm smile and Iruka was like the rest of the class just in awe. Satsuki was watching in shock. First the cute little fox can talk and now the fox and Naruto were acting like her and Itachi. Akame looked up to the soft, deep voice that was calling while still crying. Come here little sister, Naruto said while giving her a warm smile. She came running to Naruto only for her forehead to get met with two of her big brother's fingers. Itai, said Akame until she felt a soft hand on her head. Foolish little sister, I could care less for what everyone thinks about the name I gave you. You are my little sister. My little ball of sunshine. My little aka-chan. And if anybody has a problem with that they can come and do something about it. Dada boyo. Naruto said with smile. Ni-san you sound like my dad. Said Akame. Naruto started laughing. His laugh sounded godly. Your dad huh? I wouldn't mind you calling me Tu-san but I like the big brother little sister better. What do you think? Asked Naruto. Big brother little sister bond is better. Okay, Ni-san. What is it Aka-chan? You did it again. You said your verbal tick again. It's okay just go back to sleep little sister. Okay, Naruto ni. Everyone was quiet until Naruto spoke again. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen, my little sister, and training. I dislike perverts, rapists, and people who cannot tell the difference between a kunai and a scroll. My hobbies are training, taking care of aka-chan, helping my foster mom cook and gardening and exploring new things. My dream. It's already been accomplished so my new dream is to protect someone special to someone. As Naruto finished, he looked up and everyone saw his beautiful violet eyes with ocean blue highlights. And he gave them a warm smile. And I hope we can get along. 5 a.m. in the morning. Naruto's in his mother's house. Naruto wakes up and stares at the ceiling. So, today is the day where I become a ninja. Well, let's get this over with. He gets out off bed and puts on a pair of grayish-black Anbu pants and a white tank top that shows his abs and muscles. He walks to the bathroom to use it and washes his hands. He starts to brush his teeth and wash his face. After he is done he looks and sees what time it is. So it's 5:15. That should be enough time to get a good workout in and try that new jutsu I've been working on. I'll come back at around 6:20 to 6:25 and cook mom some breakfast before I go. He says after putting on his black ninja sandals. He was about to walk out until he stopped and summoned Akame. Hey lil sis. Wanna go with me to the forest while I work out? Naruto asks. Yeah, let's go, Ni-san. Naruto chuckles at his little sister antics. Alright then, let's go. I'll use the flying thunder god technique to get us there. Naruto said, and Akame jumped on top of his head. Naruto uses the flying thunder god technique and flashes to the forest of death. Alright Akame, you go hunt and find you something to eat while I start to train. Okay big brother. Akame sees a rabbit and starts to chase it. Alright, I got to up the weights on my limbs, 2,500 on each leg and 3,000 on my arms. Then all 2,000 sit-ups, push-ups, jumping jacks, handstand push-ups, and one-hand push-ups, and work on the new jutsu. If I complete it, it would be faster than the Hirishin step 2. I can only imagine how fast it'll be when I add my red lightning to it. Alright, time to get to work. 1 hour and 20 minutes later. You ready Akame? Naruto asks, finishing his workout. Sure, let's go back home. Akame responded. Naruto then flashes back home and opens the door. Alright, I need to take a shower and fix mom some breakfast since it's her day of and Tenzo is working as Anbu commander today. Naruto then goes and takes a shower and walks out with the towel wrapped around his body. Well, I see you're up early. Oh hey mom, did you sleep well? Asked Naruto. Yes I did, thank you for asking. Now go put on some clothes while I start getting breakfast ready. Yugo responded. Oh no you don't, I'm cooking breakfast this morning. Sit down and relax, I'll get a shadow clone to start breakfast. Thank you Naruto. You're always so good to me. Says Yugo with a smile. It's because I love you mom, yells Naruto from his room. After breakfast Naruto gets red and puts on black steel toe boots, black Anbu pants and black and red jacket that goes all the way down to his legs that covers his fishnet shirt even though you still see his chest. He straps both of his katanas to his back and ninja pouch with his kunais, ninja wire, shuriken, and 3-pronged kunais. He wraps tape around his left thigh and both of his wrist and puts on fingerless gloves with leaf-engraved symbols on them. He puts on his mask that cover his scar and the bottom half of his face. He puts on his left earring and ring that he got from Kami. Alright Akame, you ready to go? Again, Naruto says. Hell yeah. Naruto chuckles at his sister's antics. Mom, we are leaving. Naruto tilde. I know you are not leaving without giving me a hug tilde. Yugo says in sweet voice that sounded a little too sweet. No ma'am. Naruto runs and gives his mother a hug. See ya ka-san. See you later Sochi. Says Yugo as Naruto disappears in a murder of crows. Naruto is sitting in the class listening to Iruka's boring lecture about being a ninja. Alright, now for you to find out who's on your team and who your new sensei is. Alright, team 1 is. Naruto zoned out after that and took a quick nap, but he could still hear. Team 7 is Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto rose up then started listening to who his teammates were. Satsuki Uchiha. Satsuki raised an eyebrow and looked at Naruto, who was looking down his ring. So we are on teams. Well, at least I got someone strong and handsome, Satsuki thought with a blush. And Sakura Hinuro, and your Jonin sensei is Kakashi Hitaki. Suddenly the room got colder. Everybody heard an evil giggle then slowly turned to Naruto, who was grinning like a psychological maniac. Hee. Oh, I'm going to enjoy this. Be ready Akashi. Hee. Everybody in the room was terrified and started scooting away. Except for Satsuki, who was staring and blushing. Big brother, you are scaring everybody. Akame said. Oh, sorry? Haha, said Naruto as he was smiling sheepishly and scratching the back of his head. Everybody's sweat dropped. After the little incident, Iruka called the rest of the teams. He wished them good luck and told them their sensei will come after lunch. After everyone left, they were the only 3 left. Sue, who wants to get lunch? It's on me, asked Naruto. Sure, why not? Let's go, both of the girls said as they got up and started walking with Naruto. Satsuki wanted to ask something that was on her mind, but Naruto beat her to it. What's on your mind, Satsuki? Asked Naruto. Well, Sai, I just want to know, how the hell are you so tall? I mean, you have got to be the tallest 13 I have seen. We are freaking midgets compared to you. Freaking midgets, dude, asked Satsuki while Sakura was wondering the same thing. Naruto gave out a deep chuckle while they were walking down the street, which got the attention of some women who blushed hearing him chuckle. Well, to answer your question, Satsuki, I get that from both of my parents. My mother at the time was the tallest woman ever in the Leaf Village and my dad was the tallest man in the Leaf Village. I mean we learned about her in class. Naruto said with a smirk. Satsuki looked confused while Sakura was thinking very hard. Think about it. There was only one Uzumaki in the Leaf Village and she died 13 years ago during the Nine Tails attack. Naruto said with shit-eating grin that seemed to get wider. How? I don't know. Satsuki was thinking hard until Sakura gasped and paled. Yo, your mother was Kushina Uzumaki? Konoha's Red Death? Sakura asked. Satsuki paled after recognizing it. How could I be so stupid? His last name is literally Uzumaki. I'm so stupid, thought Satsuki. Yeah, she was the Red Death of the Leaf. And the tallest woman ever in the Leaf. Standing at a height of 6 feet 1. Naruto said as he turned around and looked at both of the girls who were white as paper. He couldn't hold it so he started laughing with tears in his eyes, not noticing the women were blushing up a storm listening to him laughing. 6 feet 1? They shouted. How is that even possible? Asked Sakura as they sat down and ordered their food. To answer that, all Uzumakis were tall. Some of the men grew up to be 7 feet. They also had high chakra reserves. So say for instance, a Chunin-leveled Uzumaki had the reserves of a Kage. Just imagine how much chakra a Kage-leveled Uzumaki shinobi would have. We also live longer than others. By the time we are 80 we start to age. So an Uzumaki can be 50 years old look 25 years old. In a sense, it's like immortality. Naruto finished as he finished eating his food. As he turned he looked at the girls who were staring at him with wide eyes. Naruto continued, Uzumakis also had bloodlines. Just like how Satsuki gets her Sharingan from the Uchiha clan, Uzumaki women had chakra chains. You're probably wondering what's so special about them, but I'll tell you why they're special. These chakra chains weren't just any chains. These chains were strong enough to hold a Biju down. That is how my mother helped the fourth Hokage. Naruto stopped as he took a drink of his water. Satsuki couldn't believe what they were hearing. No way. Your mom is so cool, Naruto. Sakura said with stars in her eyes. I agree. She was a very strong woman to hold down the Kyuubi. What else do these chains do, Naruto? Said Satsuki. She was interested in learning more about Naruto's clan. And she very amazed at Naruto's mom. Well, these are very dangerous. And I mean very. Especially if an Uzumaki woman mastered how to use them. You see, you couldn't just simply touch these chains. If you did, you died. Just that simple. These chains could poison your chakra points, which is a painful way to die slowly, or either take away your and make it theirs. These chains could also take away your life force too. And once you are wrapped around them you are good as well dead. Naruto finished. Sakura and Satsuki didn't know what to say at this point. They were so interested about the Uzumaki clan they wanted to learn more. Satsuki was wondering something so she had to ask. Wait, Naruto, you said Uzumaki women had chakra chains. What did the men have? Satsuki asked with a confused look and her head tilted to the side a little. Ya no, you look cute looking like that. Naruto said with a chuckle. Satsuki blushed and pouted. To answer your question, the men's Kekkei Genkei was called Thorn Release. Stated Naruto. Thorn Release? What's that? Asked Sakura. Thorn Release is something similar to Wood Release and is the only thing that could rival Wood Release. Said Naruto. Rival Wood Release? Asked Satsuki. Sakura just stared in awe. Yes, and you want to know something, there are 3 stages to Thorn Release. Mostly all Uzumaki men were born with the first stage of Thorn Release. This stage of Thorn Release usually had green thorns and vines with blood-red roses. The roses would usually grow from chakra. Not water, not soil, not sunlight. But chakra. This stage is the weakest stage but still rivaled the Wood Release. The second stage was barely seen in the Uzumaki clan because every 50 years only 5 men were born with the second stage. This stage usually have very dark green thorns and vines with white roses. These roses also grew from the chakra that is used while being in battle. These vines also rival the Wood Release. Sigh. Then there is the last and final stage of the Thorn Release that is extremely rare. That is only seen every 100 years. Naruto stated as he stopped and took a sip of water. Naruto, if you don't mind me asking, why is it so rare? Asked Sakura. Because, these thorns could easily overpower the Wood Release. Even the strongest Wood Release can't work against these thorns. These thorns are also possess the deadliest poison in the world. And these poisons have no cure. These thorns are known as the devil's thorns. These thorns are pure black with small blood-red streaks in between the small cracks of the thorns. These thorns also create black roses that grows from blood. Naruto finished. Satsuki and Sakura paled. They were scared to even meet someone who had that type of thorn release. Say, Naruto? Asked Satsuki. Asked Naruto with questioning look on his face. Since you are an Uzumaki, do you have this Kekkei Genkei? Asked Satsuki. Of course I do, stated Naruto. Well, do you know what stage do you have? Asked Sakura. Yep, said Naruto. Which stage do you have? Asked Satsuki. The third one, stated Naruto with a smirk. The girls paled again. After they regained themselves, Naruto started talking again. The Uzumakis were also good at sealing and kenjutsu. That's what they were known for. Alright, any more questions before go back to the academy to see Kakashi? Asked Naruto. Satsuki then started to talk. Alright, I got a question. How skilled was your mom in kenjutsu? Asked Satsuki. She always wanted to learn kenjutsu, but she didn't have the right person to teach her. Skilled enough to beat the 7 swordsmen of the mist and win, which she already did, stated Naruto as he began walking back to the academy. Satsuki and Sakura jaws dropped to the floor with their eyes wide as dinner plates. As they regained themselves, they started running to catch up with Naruto. Naruto was thinking about different ways to punish Kakashi for being so late. When that gray-haired son of bitch gets here, I'm going to shove his books so far up his ass. Naruto didn't get to finish because he heard the door slide open. Yo, are you 3 Team 7? Asked Kakashi, not knowing that Naruto was on his team. All of a sudden the room got colder. When you looked outside you could see it getting darker. Satsuki and Sakura paled when they felt huge amount of chakra and killing intent. They looked towards Naruto and saw black chakra around him that had gray and white streaks inside the chakra coming from Naruto. Kakashi paled cause he only felt this from one person ever. So Kakashi, you're still being late, I see. I thought I beat that out of you last time. Doesn't matter. The Hokage told me you have been slipping out of your training. I'm going to give my workout schedule. Not yours, mine's. And after I'm done beating the shit out of, I'm going to make what I did to you last time look like child's play. You out of all people know I hate people being late. You are a goddamn elite Jonin Kakashi. Get your shit together and stop sulking around and blaming shit on yourself that you had no control over. Do I make myself clear? Kakashi Hitaki, yelled Naruto as his bloodlust and killing intent kept rising that it was felt throughout the whole village. Kakashi was scared shitless, he couldn't even talk. He didn't know what to say. Every time Naruto got mad his eyes would go an evil dark purple that could stare into your soul. Speak clearly Kakashi, you're pissing me off, yelled Naruto. His chakra started to shake the academy and other buildings like an earthquake. Hi Naruto, I'm sorry for being late, yelled Kakashi, who was scared for his life. Good, now where do you want us to go? Asked Naruto, who was still staring at Kakashi menacingly. The roof, stated Kakashi, who was scared of saying the wrong thing. There was a long silence before Naruto started speaking. Very well, Naruto answered. As soon as he said that, he disappeared in a flock of black butterflies. Kakashi let out a breath he was holding and told the 2 girls to come here. Once they came, he put a hand on their shoulders and then shunshin away to the roof. Now that we are all here, how about we introduce ourselves? Started Kakashi. Go first Kakashi, and tell them everything or I'm burning your collection of books, ordered Naruto, who was still slightly pissed at Kakashi. Alright then, my name is Kakashi Hitaki. I like cooking, relaxing, messing with guy reading my book. I dislike traitors, guide challenges, and people interrupting me reading my book. My dream is to make you the best genin team in the leaf. Kakashi finished with an eye smile. Alright, you with the pink hair. You go, said Kakashi. My name is Sakura Haruno. I like gardening and learning new medical jutsu. I dislike perverts, traitors, rapists, and people talking about my forehead. My dream is to become the best medical ninja ever, said Sakura. Okay good. You, the one staring at Naruto, said Kakashi as he smirked, seeing Satsuki blush. My name is Satsuki Uchiha. I like tomatoes, cooking, and a certain someone. As she said that, she stared at Naruto and started blushing. I dislike perverts, rapists, fanboys, traitors and people who touch my tomatoes. My dream is to find my brother and ask why he did murder our clan and rebuild my clan with a certain someone." Satsuki finished while looking at Naruto and blushing so hard that would put a tomato to shame. "Alright, last but not least Naruto," said Kakashi, who didn't even dare to try and give Naruto a nickname. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like gardening, cooking, training, reading, ramen, and my lil sister Akame. I dislike perverts, even though I'm one, rapists, people who threatens the people who I love and care about. My dream has been fulfilled, so my goal in life is to protect the people that I love by any means necessary," said Naruto as he gave look to Kakashi that Kakashi would remember from anywhere. He has the same cold look in his eyes like Sensei, but only with the color of deadly purple. Kakashi thought and shivered. "Well, meet me tomorrow at Training Ground 7 at 8 o'clock for your genin exams. And don't eat tomorrow. You might puke." "Ya ne tilde," said Kakashi as he disappeared and leaves. "Eat tomorrow. Can't fight on empty stomach now, can you?" "On and Satsuki, you activated your Sharingan," Naruto said as he saw a piece of broken glass on, picked it up and put in Satsuki's face. When she looked, she saw 2 tomo in each eye. "Well, I got to go home." "Wait, huh? What's the matter, Satsuki?" asked Naruto. "Well, I was wondering if you wanted to go get something to eat?" asked a nervous Satsuki. "So you're asking me out?" asked Naruto with small smirk. "No, I mean yes. IDK maybe, haha," Satsuki said nervously. "Sure, I would love to come," Naruto said with a warm smile as he looked down at Satsuki. Satsuki started to blush. "So where do you want to go?" she asked while having a slight blush. "How about to your house? You said you like to cook, I want to try some of your cooking. I'll even make deal. If your food is delicious, I'll show you what I look like without my mask." "Deal?" Naruto said with a smirk. Satsuki on the other hand was shocked and happy. She could get to see Naruto without his mask if he likes her food. That is one-time thing since nobody's seen with his mask off. Satsuki for the first time in years smiled a true smile. "Deal," she accepted happily with a bright smile. Naruto chuckled in a deep and husky voice that caused Satsuki to blush. Naruto grabbed her chin and lifted her head up. While doing that, Satsuki felt Naruto's hand on her chin and made her look up to him. He bent down and gave her a kiss on her forehead. Satsuki blushed so hard it would put Kushina's hair to shame. Naruto chuckled again. "You're cute when blush, ya know?" said Naruto, as he put his hand on her face and cupped her cheek. Satsuki, feeling his warm hand, leaned into it, making Naruto smile. "I'll meet you at your house at 6, if that's fine with you?" asked Naruto. "Sure, I'm fine with it," said Satsuki as she couldn't help but smile. She was eating dinner with her crush tonight. "Very well then," he said as he bent down and kissed her cheek, making her blush again. Naruto looked and laughed. "See you later, Suki-chan," said Naruto as he disappeared in black burning rose petals. Satsuki just stayed there staring at the spot Naruto just left from with a smile on her face. She turned and raced home to get ready for her date with her crush. Satsuki just got done getting dressed. She was walking around until she heard a knock on her door. She quickly calmed down and walked to the door and opened it. She blushed at what she saw. "Naruto, you look good," Satsuki said with a blush. "You think? I tried my best," he said while scratching the back of his head like his dad used to. Naruto had on an all-black tuxedo that showed his muscles and both of his mother's necklaces on. "Well, come in, the food is ready." "Great, I'm starving." "Oh, and these are for you," said Naruto as he handed her a bouquet of flowers. "Thank you, Naruto," said Satsuki as she happily to them. They walked to the table and sat down. "Thank you for the food," they both said. Satsuki started eating, then she saw Naruto turn his back in order to try the food. When she saw it put in his mouth, she froze to see what he would say. As he turned around, she had to ask, "Do you like it?" "No." Satsuki put her head down in shame. "I fucking love it. Seriously, what did you put in this? This is the best thing I ever had," Naruto stated. "You really like it?" asked a shocked and happy Satsuki. "Suki-chan, I love it," Naruto said. "Well, it looks like I have to keep up my end of the deal, Suki-chan?" asked Naruto as he looked at Satsuki, who was vigorously shaking her head happy. Naruto laughed. "Well, here goes." Time seemed to slow down once Naruto put his hand on his mask and started to pull it down. Satsuki was leaning over the table and didn't even know it. Once Naruto pulled down his mask, Satsuki could have sworn she was staring at an angel sent from Kami. "Like what you see, Suki-chan?" Naruto said with a smirk. Satsuki blushed and nodded yes. Naruto chuckled. "Satsuki, I need to tell you something. It's very important and you are the only one I can trust with this information." "What I mean by that is that I trust you. So when I tell you we'll have to listen to me, deal?" asked Naruto. Satsuki nodded, ready to learn more about Naruto. "Okay, let me put up silencing seals." As he did, he continued. "Suki-chan, my name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Uchiha. Human sacrifice of the Kyuubi no Kitsune, son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, grandson of Madara Uchiha and Mina Namikaze on my father's side and grandson of Tsunade Senju and Arashi Uzumaki on my mother's side." Finished Naruto. Satsuki just paled. She didn't know what to say. The hell you supposed to say when you have Madara's grandson sitting in front of you? Naruto, do you have your Sharingan?" "Of course. And I'm going to teach you how to use your Sharingan," Naruto said with smirk that made him look like Madara. "Really?" asked Satsuki on the verge of tears. Ever since Naruto came, he's been nothing but nice and kind to her. "Of course," Naruto said with a smile. Satsuki ran and hugged him, saying thank you over and again. She kept hugging him until she heard thunder. "Ah crap. It's finna ran and it's a long way to my house," Naruto said with a sigh. "You can stay here tonight, Naruto," said Satsuki with a blush. "You sure I don't want to be burdened?" "Yes, I'm positive you can stay. Plus I get lonely by myself in this house," Satsuki said with a sad smile. "Okay, I'll stay. You go take a shower while I wash the dishes. It's the least I could do while staying," Naruto said with a smile. "Thank you, Naruto," Satsuki said with a genuine smile as she went to take a shower. "Well, let's get started." Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto yelled as two more perfect clones of himself stood beside him. "Okay, let's clean up the kitchen, you guys," Naruto said. "You got it, boss," the clones responded. 30 minutes later. "Naruto, I'm finished. You can go and take a shower now," yelled Satsuki. "Alright, I'm going in there now," said Naruto. Satsuki walked out of her room with a black sports bra and black shorts on. She walked into the living room and started watching TV. 20 minutes later, Naruto walked out the bathroom with gray sweatpants that stopped at his ankle and water running down his hair. "Hey Suki-chan, I hope you don't mind me not wearing a shirt. The shirts you gave me were too tight," said Naruto. "Oh Kami, he is going to walk in here any minute without a shirt and no mask? This is the best night ever," Satsuki thought. She heard footsteps coming from the hallway when she looked and her heart skipped a beat. She blushed hard with a trickle of blood coming from her nose. "Oh Kami, he has an 8-pack? Half. Doesn't matter, I get to see it. And he has tattoos? Those scars on his body are beautiful. Especially the one by his neck going up his chin. Oh Kami, I see his package," she thought while blushing furiously, almost fainting. "I don't mind, Naru-kun," said Satsuki. "Naru-kun? You're the second person to give me a nickname, Yano? But I like it. So what are you watching?" asked Naruto. "Road to Ninja. It's really a good movie," said Satsuki. "Can I watch?" asked Naruto. "Sure," she answered with a small, happy smile. After the movie, Satsuki fell asleep on Naruto's shoulder. "Guess I'll carry her to her bed," Naruto thought as Satsuki slept on his shoulder. Naruto picked her up bridal style as Satsuki snuggled into his chest. Once he made it to her room, he laid her down. He looked at her and smiled. He then bent down and kissed her forehead. "Good night, Suki-chan," Naruto whispered. As he was about to leave, Satsuki grabbed his hand. He turned around and saw her crying. "Naruto, please stay with me tonight. I don't want to be alone anymore. Please, just stay with me tonight," Satsuki said while crying. Naruto's eyes were wide, then gave her a soft look. He walked over and sat on her bed and lifted up her chin. Satsuki looked up, seeing Naruto staring at her with loving, caring eyes. "Listen to Satsuki. You will never be alone again. I will always be here for you no matter what. You don't have to go through anything alone by yourself no more. I will be that person to listen to problems when nobody else listens. I will be that shoulder you need when you need to cry. I will be that person you need to talk to when you need advice. I will be here for you no matter what. I will be your guardian angel. Always and forever will be. Satsuki-chan," Naruto said as he bent down and kissed her forehead. Satsuki eyes widened with tears. You won't ever leave me, Naruto-kun? Satsuki asked. I won't ever leave you, Satsuki-chan. Promise me you won't, said Satsuki. I promise you, Satsuki Uchiha, that I, Naruto Uzakazi Uchiha, won't ever leave you again, said Naruto. Before he knew it, Satsuki kissed him. He was shocked, then he started to kiss her back. Satsuki pulled back from the kiss and snuggled up in Naruto's chest. Good night, Naruto-kun, said Satsuki. Good night, Satsuki-hime, said Naruto as he pulled her closer as the both fell asleep listening to the rain. The next morning Satsuki woke up on something warm and a steady beating noise. Then she realized who it was and started smiling and laid back down. Naruto did the same thing as her and laid back down and went to sleep. They woke up at 9:30 and got dressed and went to training ground 7. While they were walking, Satsuki grabbed Naruto's hand. Naruto was shocked at first but grabbed her hand tight as if she was going away. It put a smile on his face. He was finally being loved by someone else other than his mother. He looked at Satsuki and couldn't help but smile at how happy she looked. She looks so happy right now. I won't let anyone take that away from her. I'll be damned if anybody tries anything to hurt her. That is a promise, Dada Boyo. He looked at her again and laughed. Satsuki looked at him curiously. What are you laughing at, Naruto-kun? Satsuki asked. Oh, nothing. It just that seeing you happy makes me happy, ya know. Naruto said while looking at Satsuki in a happily, warming and loving way that made Satsuki's heart skip a beat. It's just that I'm happy that I can finally have somebody to love again, Satsuki said while looking down. She looked up and her eyes went wide when she saw Naruto shed a tear. Naruto, what's wrong? Is it something I said? Satsuki said, panicking that she did something wrong. No, it's just that I'm finally being loved by someone else other than my adopted mother. My dream that we talked about yesterday when we introduced ourselves. My dream was to protect. I love you, to Satsuki. Just so you know. Now let's go to training ground and kick some ass. The test is about teamwork, so we are going to have to work together. Ready to kick some ass, Suki-chan? Asked Naruto. Hell yeah, said Satsuki while looking determined. Alright, I'll shunshin us there. And after the test I'll show you how to do it. Ready? Asked Naruto. Let's do this, said Satsuki. Naruto put his hand on her shoulder and they both disappeared in a murder of crows. So he threatened me to come early, and when I do he comes late? Asked Kakashi with a sweat drop. Kakashi and Sakura have been waiting on Naruto and Satsuki for the past 3 hours. Sensei, when will they be here? Asked Sakura, who was already pissed and coming so early. I don't kn. Just when Kakashi was about to answer, a flock of crows appeared out of nowhere and started circling around each other. As it started to disappear, 2 people were standing there. These 2 people were none other than Naruto and Satsuki. Where have you 2 been? Asked Kakashi. Sorry, we are late. We both got lost on the path of life, said Naruto with an eye smile. Kakashi's sweat dropped. That's supposed to be my line, said Kakashi. Huh, did you say something, Kakashi? Asked Naruto with a bored look on his face. Kakashi's eyes started twitching. Never mind, let's just get this test over with, said Kakashi as he walked over and put the timer on one of the logs. Kakashi started to explain the test. As he was explaining the test, he noticed that the 2 girls were looking at him with a bored expression and Naruto was asleep against the tree. Are you 3 even listening to what I am saying? No. Why? What's the point of listening if we already know what this test is about? Asked Satsuki with a bored look on her face. We already know this is about teamwork. Since when have you ever heard of a 3-man squad? Asked Sakura. Well, you had to get the bells, said Kakashi, who was impressed that they figured out the meaning of the test. Already have them, the girls both said at the same time while holding up the bells. But how? Asked Kakashi, who was beyond shocked. When you looked into Satsuki's eyes, she placed a genjutsu you and I went and got the bells off your waist and then she dispelled the genjutsu, said Sakura, who was explaining it like it was nothing. Well, I guess you pass. Team 7 is now official, said Kakashi proudly at his new students. Well, I got to. Oh no you don't, Kakashi, you are standing right here, said Naruto, who was now fully awake. I hope you didn't think I forgot about what I said to you yesterday, said Naruto with a sadistic smile on his face. Kakashi paled. Shit, I thought he would forget. I'm so screwed right now, thought Kakashi, who was sweating bullets by now. Kakashi. The Hokage has been telling me you have been getting lazy. He told me that is off right now, you are a simple A-rank ninja. Which is I don't know. Kinda crazy because you used to be an S-rank ninja. Mind explaining to how drop down a rank Kashi ni tilde? Asked Naruto with sickly sweet smile. He used to be an S-rank ninja, thought the two girls. Hehe. Naruto W, what are you doing? Asked Kakashi, who was trying not to shiver in fear. Keyword trying. What does it look I'm doing? Asked Naruto as he took his black coat and shirt off. Sakura and Satsuki both blushed at what they saw. He has a freaking 8-pack, thought Sakura, who had a slight nosebleed. I know I seen him without shirt before, but it's like it's my first time seeing him without shirt on all over again, thought Satsuki as she was looking at Naruto tattoos. I never seen his tattoos in the light. They are beautiful, thought Satsuki. Alright Kakashi, you ready? Asked Naruto as he began to rise his chakra. As he was rising his chakra, the clouds started getting dark and all you could hear were crows cawing everywhere you looked. The wind started picking up and thunder started rumbling. But the weird thing that Satsuki and Sakura noticed is that when it started lighting, it wasn't a normal bluish-white color. It was red. Soon it started getting hard for everyone to breathe and the ground started shaking violently. Naruto pulled out a beautiful katana and held up to the sky. Kakashi saw this and his eyes started getting wide. Supuraden red lightning blade, said Naruto. The girls looked at Naruto from behind the tree. They noticed that it stopped lightning. Why did it stop lightning? Thought both of the girls. They then noticed that Naruto still had his sword in the air. What is he planning to do? Thought Satsuki. As soon as she said that, it started back lightning but more violently. Then a huge bolt of lightning struck where Naruto was at. As the dust cleared, Naruto was still standing but his blade was covered in red electricity. So Kakashi, are you ready? Asked Naruto. Kakashi gulped and reached for a kunai. Once he got the kunai, he covered it in his own type of lightning. Purple lightning. Kakashi looked at Naruto and nodded. Well then, let's dance Kakashi, said Naruto. Naruto started walking towards Kakashi. As he was walking, everything looked in slow motion as after images started following Naruto. Next thing Kakashi knew was that Naruto was behind him. Before he could react, he was kicked so hard, with so much force, he thought Tsunade hit him. He hit a nearby tree and tried to catch his breath. Damn it, he packs one hell of a kick, thought Kakashi. He then heard something cut through the air. He looked up and saw Naruto's katana coming at full speed at him. Everything moved in slow motion for Kakashi, as he used his Mangekyo to dodge the blade. When he dodged the blade, he took a good look at it. He had to admit that it was a beautiful blade. But he looked at the hilt of the blade and noticed some type of seal on it. He looked closer at it and his eyes widened. He couldn't have mastered that jutsu? He couldn't, thought Kakashi, who was now panicking. Oh, I mastered that, just you, said Naruto as he flashed in front of Kakashi. Kakashi was shocked in place and couldn't move. So Naruto took this as an advantage and punched him in the face and sent Kakashi back into the field. Kakashi had blood coming from his mask. It was then he heard Naruto start laughing. A laugh that echoed throughout the whole training ground. The laugh sent shivers down everyone's back, especially Kakashi. As they looked deep into the forest, they saw a pair of menacingly violet eyes that promised pain. Kakashi whimpered in fear. The wind started to pick up and started blowing violently. Red lightning was hitting the ground everywhere. More and more crows appeared out of nowhere. The air felt heavier than before and it was getting hard to breathe. The ground started having minor quakes due to the amount of chakra being released. Naruto walked out of the forest, with his katana in his hand, but they also noticed something else. Beside Naruto was a black fox, with a blood-red tipped tail and ears, that stood the same height as an alpha wolf. The fox had blood-red eyes with a black slit. Kakashi, you remember Akame, don't you? Asked Naruto with a smirk. Kakashi could have sworn he saw Madara behind Naruto. Kakashi couldn't move, he was frozen with fear. He didn't even recognize the cuts on his body from the wind. He had one long cut going across his chest. Naruto raised an eyebrow and sighed. Alright Kashi ni, you can go now, said Naruto. When Naruto said that, Kakashi let out a breath that he was holding in. Sakura, Suki-chan, let's go, said Naruto as he got his coat and put it on and forgot to put on his shirt. As they were leaving, Naruto threw some bandages to Kakashi. "You don't want to go to the Hokage's office blooded up, do you?" asked Naruto as Kakashi looked at Naruto with an eye smile. "Thank you. Anytime Kashi ni." "What time do we have to be here tomorrow?" asked Naruto. "Be here at 9 a.m. Kakashi answered. "Alright, see you tomorrow then," said Naruto as he walked off holding Satsuki's hand. "Well, I guess I have to go to the Hokage's office and tell him that I finally passed a team. But first let me tend to these wounds," said Kakashi as he started treating his wounds. As Kakashi got to the Hokage's, he knocked on the door and walked in. As he walked, he saw all the Chunin teachers in the office. "Ah, Kakashi, I was wondering where you were. Why are you bandaged up like that?" asked the Hokage, but he already knew the answer. Kakashi only just said one answer with a shiver down his back. "Naruto." Kakashi simply answered. Most of the Chunin knew Naruto and knew he was a nice boy, and they knew who the boy really was. But there were one person who looked at Kakashi with a shocked and curious look. This one person was Kurenai Yohi. "You are telling me that a genin did that to you?" asked Kurenai. She didn't believe Kakashi, but when she saw the look on the Jonin's face, she noticed that he was not lying. "Yes, he did, and can do it over and over again without going all out. And if you don't believe, ask all these Jonins. Each and every last one of them has fought Naruto and lost. To put it in other words, he's just another Madara except not power-hungry." Kakashi answered, defending his little brother. When Kakashi finished, Kurenai was staring with awe and fear. "And you want to know something, Kurenai? He's not even in his prime yet. Imagine what he'll be like in the next decade or two," said Kakashi. Kurenai paled. She turned from Kakashi and looked at the Hokage. The Hokage sighed. "Kurenai, what I'm about to tell you is only known by the Jonin, Anbu, former Anbu, which means Iruka, me, Danzo, the elders, and the Shinobi Council. You can't mention this to anyone until it is revealed in the Chunin exams. If you tell anyone, I'll get Danzo to execute you. Am I clear?" the Hokage said in a deadly voice. Kurenai paled and started nodding. "Good. Naruto is the son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. He is also the grandson of Tsunade Senju and Arashi Uzumaki on his mother's side, and the grandson of Mina Namikaze and Madara Uchiha on his father's side. He is the fourth and only living SSS-rank ninja in the entire elemental nations, and was known as Anbu Commander Kitsune," the Hokage said. Kurenai didn't know what to do, say or do, so she did the only thing she could do. She fainted. Everybody looked at her, then to the Hokage. "So Kakashi, did they pass the test?" asked the Hokage. "Hi, they pass with flying colors," stated Kakashi with his usual eye smile. "We find Naruto standing in front of parents' grave. He has been there for an hour now talking to them." As soon he said his prayers and was about to leave, two Anbu members jumped in front of Naruto kneeling. "Commander, the Hokage has summoned you and your team for a mission," said the first Anbu member. "Tell him I'll be there in a minute. I need to get my stuff for our mission. And you take the rest of the day off and go spend time with your kids. I know they would want their father and mother there for their birthday." Naruto replied with a smile. "Thank you, Commander. You are too kind to us. You guys deserve a break. And you earned it. Now go home and tell your kids happy birthday for me, and here I got something for the both of them." Naruto then gave them 2 scrolls. "Their presents are inside that scroll," he said with an eye smile like his older brother. "Thank you so much, Commander," the 2 Anbu said in a unison. And with that they disappeared. "Well, let's go see what the old man wants." Naruto was at the Hokage's door. He was listening to what the Hokage was telling his team about the C-rank mission. Once the Hokage was done, he knocked on the door. "Enter," the Hokage said. Naruto walked in and saw his team. "Ah, Naruto, my boy, you are finally here. And I assume you already know what the mission about, since you was the one who requested it?" asked the Hokage. "What's up, Gigi? And yeah, I know what the mission is about," said Naruto. "I see you changed your clothes, my boy. What happened to your cloak?" asked the old Hokage. Everybody turned and looked at Naruto. The 2 girls was blushing hard. Naruto had on a tight black tank top and black Anbu pants with black combat boots. He was also black fingerless gloves with metal plates on the top of the gloves. He also had 3 katanas strapped to his back. "Naru-kun, where did you get that other katana from?" asked Satsuki. "Naru-kun?" everybody thought. "Well, Suki-chan, This extra katana on my back was originally my mother's katana, Kushina Uzumaki's blade of death. It's the same katana she used to fight the 7 ninja swordsmen. Answered Naruto. Suki-chan? Everybody thought? Oh, and Kurenai's team will be accompanying you with this mission, said the Hokage, as soon as he said that there was a knock on the Hokage's door. Enter, said the Hokage, and soon enough, Team 8 walked in. Kurenai looked at Kakashi's team. She looked at Sakura and Satsuki and smiled. She then looked at Naruto and snorted. Who is the Kakashi wannabe? Asked Kurenai. Naruto turned slowly and looked at her murderously with his purple eyes. Kurenai flinched. Before she can blink, Naruto was behind her with a kunai to her neck. Care to run that by me again, Jonin? Naruto said menacingly with his killer intent rising, causing everybody in the Hokage's room to have a hard time breathing. Kurenai's body was trembling with fear. Naruto looked at her and stopped releasing his killer intent. Kakashi caught his breath and spoke. To answer your question, Kurenai, that is Naruto Uzumaki. Answered Kakashi. Kurenai paled. She just the most dangerous person in the elemental nations by calling him a Kakashi wannabe. I'm sorry for what I said earlier. Kurenai apologized. Don't worry about it. Now can we get on with the mission? Asked Naruto. The Hokage nodded. Bring in the client. The old man ordered. 2 Anbu guards brought in a man named Tazuna. What is this? I paid for a mission for real ninjas, not a bunch of brats. Hey you. Tall guy with blonde hair. How old are you? Asked Tazuna. 13. Naruto said simply. The hell? The hell you been eating all your life? Why are you so tall? The drunken old man exclaimed in shock and awe. Family genetics. Ah, I like you. You sound dependable. So, what time are meeting at the gates? What's your name? Tazuna asked. We meet at the gate at 1 hour and my name is Naruto, sir. Oh well, see at the gates. Until then I'm going to get me some more sake. Tazuna then left, leaving everybody in the room except Naruto thinking, WTF just happened? You all heard me, didn't you? Go home and start packing for a month and meet me at the gates in an hour. Don't be late, Naruto said menacingly, sending shivers down the team's back. Come on Satsuki, I'll go help you pack since I already have my things, said Naruto as he and Satsuki left to get a head start. Well, you heard the man, go home and start packing, said Kakashi. Following the command, everybody left to start packing for their mission. The Hokage smiled as the teams left and looked at his paperwork. He then started rubbing his temples and was shaking his head. I'm getting too old for this shit. Satsuki was in her room with Naruto, packing her things for the mission. She noticed that Naruto was being awfully quiet. Naru-kun, are you alright? Asked Satsuki. Naruto didn't say nothing. After a couple of minutes of silence, Naruto finally spoke. To be honest, Suki-chan, no, I'm not alright. What's wrong? Those bastards put me in the CRA, said Naruto as he was trying to hold back tears. Satsuki looked at him with shock. What? Why? Because, if I didn't agree to do it, they were going to put you in CRA. Naruto replied sadly as he had tears going down his face. Satsuki looked horrified. They were going to put in the CRA, but he stopped them and asked to be put in the CRA instead. Satsuki thought. She was then knocked out of her thoughts when she heard Naruto whimpering while he was crying. It broke her heart seeing Naruto like this. She then went up to Naruto and wrapped her arms around him. She felt him stiffen a little but relaxed. Naru-kun, look at me, Satsuki said, but Naruto didn't move. Please Naruto, just look at me, she asked. When he turned around, her eyes widened. It was both a beautiful and sad sight to see. Naruto's violet eyes looked like violet gems that shine in the dark. But the sad part about it was the tear marks on his face, and his eyes were puffy for crying for so long. Naruto dropped to his knees and hugged Satsuki tight and put his head in the crook of his neck. Satsuki started rubbing his back in circles. Sheesh, it's okay Naru-kun. I'm always here for you no matter what. We will get through this together. And when we do, everything will just be fine. And I appreciate you for saving me from that horrible thing. You are a good man Naru-kun. That's one of the main reasons why I love you. And nothing will ever change that, said Satsuki. Naruto's eyes widened. It was then he let it all out. His cries sounding like someone lost the most valuable thing, life, to them. Satsuki couldn't hold it in no more. She too started shedding some tears. It pained her to hear her boyfriend cry like He was in so much pain. Once Naruto stopped crying, he kissed her forehead, making her blush slightly. "I'm thankful for you, Satsuki, I really am. But are you okay with this?" asked Naruto. "I'm okay with it, but I will approve of them. And I will always be your first. Okay?" Satsuki asked with a smirk. Naruto chuckled and kissed her deeply. After a few minutes of kissing, Naruto answered, "Okay, Suki-chan. XXXXXXXXXXXXX." "Hey, Satsuki?" asked Sakura. "Yes, what is it, Sakura?" "I was just wondering, what are those purple marks on your neck?" asked Sakura. Everybody then looked at Satsuki. The two Jonins had a blush on their face. The Genins looked her curiously except for Naruto, who was looking the other, whistling with his hands behind his back. Satsuki was blushing furiously. It's nothing," Satsuki said quickly. "And if I'm not mistaken, those marks look like a pair of lips," Kiba said with his hand on his chin. Satsuki was blushing so hard you could see steam coming out of her ear. She didn't know what to do, so she ran behind Naruto and hid. "Naruto, what did you do to her?" Kurenai asked with a frown, causing Naruto to raise an eyebrow. "I gave her a bunch of hickeys." "Why? You must got a problem with how I show affection to my girlfriend?" Naruto asked nonchalantly with a bored look on his face. Satsuki didn't know what to say. How could he just be so straight up about something like that, like it's nothing? "Well, never mind, let's just keep going," Kurenai said as she began walking with a slight blush on her face. As they were walking, they stopped at puddle that was an obvious genjutsu. "Now who the flying fuck did this whack-ass genjutsu when it hasn't been raining for 2 fucking weeks?" asked Naruto, pissed off because of the poor ninja skills. Kiba tried to hold in his laugh but had tears in his eyes. Naruto then threw 2 kunais with paper bombs on them. As soon as they exploded, one person jumped out while the other was dead. Before the rogue ninja could say something, he was kicked to tree and tied up so fast he didn't even have time to process what the fuck was going on. "So, mind telling me why you are after the old man?" "Fuck you. I'm flattered, but I don't swing that way. Already have a girlfriend. I must say I do look good if I do say so myself." That was the last straw for Kiba. He couldn't hold it no more. He burst out laughing. He was on the ground holding his sides, trying to breathe. I couldn't hold it no more, I'm sorry, ha. He yelled while still holding his sides. "Now are you gonna tell me why you attacked the old man, or am I going to have to force it out of you?" said Naruto as he activated his Sharingan. As the rogue ninja explained why they attacked, Naruto listened carefully till he was done speaking. Once the rogue ninja was done, he went to Zuna and him to explain. Once he was done explaining, they continued their mission. As they were walking, Kiba and Naruto, with their high sense of hearing, heard something in the bushes and at the same time threw a kunai. Once they walked to see what it was, they saw a snow white bunny. What is a white bunny doing out in the summer? Naruto thought. That was until a mist covered the whole area. It was then Kakashi, Naruto, and Kiba heard something cutting the air. Naruto eyes widen. "Everybody get down," yelled Naruto. As soon as they dropped down, the blade was coming straight towards Naruto. Naruto just stared at the blade. The blade was close to his face. But as it was about to connect, Naruto flashed, stepped over the sword and caught the handle. Naruto then put the big blade over his shoulders while everybody just stared in awe. Roses are red, violets are blue. There is only person that carries this sword, and that's Uncle Mumu. "You need to stop throwing this big sword around like it's a kunai," said Naruto. "Only one person ever called me Uncle Mumu. Could it be him?" the unknown ninja thought. "Naruto, is that you?" "Of course it's me, Zabuza," exclaimed Naruto. The ninja, now named Zabuza, chuckled. "Well, I be damned. It has been a long time, hasn't it, Naruto? So how's it been going, kid?" "It's been a while," asked Zabuza. "I've been great, as you can see," answered Naruto. "Did you like the birthday gift I sent you?" asked Naruto. "Did I like it? Kid, I love it," exclaimed Zabuza. "And you've gotten taller since the last time I saw you." "You're about as tall as me now," stated Zabuza. "Well, it has been 5 years since I've been with you and Haku." "Speaking of Haku, you can tell her to come out now," said Naruto. As soon as Naruto said that, a bluish green came out of nowhere and tackled Naruto. "Naruto-kun, I'm so glad to see you. Do you know how much I've missed you?" exclaimed Haku as she was hugging Naruto tightly. "Haku, can't breathe. stated Naruto as he was turning blue. While this was going on, the Leaf Shinobi and Tazuna were looking confused and shocked and didn't know what to say until Kiba decided to speak up. "Okay, can somebody tell me what the hell is going on?" yelled Kiba. Zabuza looked at Kiba as Haku let go of Naruto so he could breathe. As he caught his breath, he began to speak. "Everybody, meet Zabuza Momochi, demon of the hidden mist, my surrogate uncle and sensei. And this is his adopted daughter Haku," explained Naruto. Everybody looked at him in shock. The demon of the mist was his sensei, and called him his surrogate uncle. Naruto? How do you know them?" asked Kakashi. "I had left the village 5 years ago to travel the world and I met Zabuza and the rest of the swordsmen of the mist and trained with them. After training with them, the group split up and I went along with Zabuza to travel and that's how we met Haku. After learning everything from Zabuza, I had to come to village. So that's how I know him so well," explained Naruto. "Does that answer your question?" asked Naruto. The Leaf Ninja just nodded dumbly. Nobody didn't know what to say. I mean, how could you respond to someone after they said they trained with the 7 swordsmen of the mist? "Oi, Zabuza, what? Let's fight. Obviously you are here for the bridge builder, so let's make a deal," stated Naruto looking mischievously. What is he doing? Everybody thought. "Alright, let's hear it out," Zabuza said looking at Naruto with a confusing look. "If I win, you got to help us protect the bridge builder, kill Gateau, and become a Leaf Shinobi," said Naruto. Okay. But if I win, you are going to have to show me what you really look like under that mask of yours. And you have to stop that smoking habit," said Zabuza with an evil look in his eyes. Naruto paled. He was definitely had to win now. Not like he couldn't, but Zabuza was high-ranking S-rank ninja, borderlining sulfur monosulfide rank. So this was gonna be tough. Naruto took a deep breath. He dug in his pocket and took what looked like a red hairband. "Man, I really need to cut my hair. I'm starting to look like grandpa. Not that it's not cool, it just needs more style to it," thought Naruto. He then began to take off his shirt. As he was doing this, the girls were blushing. Even Kurenai had a blush on her face. What the hell? How the hell he has an freaking 8-pack at such a young age? And are those tattoos? Thought Kurenai. As she was looking, she noticed that Naruto had a huge cross on his back with roses vines on the cross and a crow resting on top of the cross. And on his left side of his hip, was a crow that seemed to be holding a black rose between its beak. When Naruto turned to look at them, it was like looking at angel fallen from heaven. Kurenai could only mutter one word. "Beautiful," she muttered. Everybody just agreed with her. The tattoos on Naruto's body were like a work of art. Everybody got of their shock when they saw Naruto walking towards them. As he got closer, the girls, even Kurenai, breath hitched. As he was finally in front of them, the girls was staring at his body until he spoke. "Do y'all like what you see?" Naruto asked with a smirk, but you couldn't tell since he had on a mask. The girls started blushing so hard, you would mistaken them for tomatoes. "Naru-kun, are you really going to fight him?" asked Satsuki, who was worried. "Yeah, I have to fight him." "Hey Kiba, can you throw me your kunai?" asked Naruto. Yeah sure here," said Kiba as he chucked the kunai towards Naruto. "Thanks." Naruto caught the kunai and cut his thumb. He then swiped his thumb against his right forearm. Then in a poof of smoke, 2 beautiful katanas were in Naruto's hands. "Those are beautiful. Where did you get those from, Naruto?" asked Kurenai. "My mother. When my mother adopted me on my birthday, she got me these as a gift. That was the best day of my life," Naruto said with a kind smile. "Well, I better go ahead get this over with," Naruto said as he started walking. "Wait Naruto. I have one more question," said Kurenai. Naruto stopped. "What is it?" Why do you fight with your shirt off?" asked Kurenai. "Well, to be honest, I never liked fighting with a shirt on. It just doesn't feel right. I just love the wind hitting my chest. And when I do wear shirts, it's mostly black tank tops or black muscle shirts," Naruto explained as he turned to look at Kurenai. Kurenai blushed. For some reason she was in love with Naruto's eyes. And the way he spoke to her, it gave her a warm feeling inside. Naruto turned to walk to Zabuza. As he got there, he stopped and looked at Zabuza and Haku. "Haku, go over to where everyone else is at. This is going to get ugly." Haku nodded. "Yes Zabuza-san." As Shunshin over to the rest of the ninjas. "So kid, we are doing this again?" "Yep. Last time you got your ass beat. And the time before that. And the time before that. Shut up you damn brat. This time won't be like last time. Since you made me a sword exactly like my first one," said Zabuza as he pulled not one but two Kabikirabocho. He then began to rise his chakra along with his killer intent and bloodlust. His chakra was blood red and formed what looked like demon from hell. Everyone started to panic and started sweating from fear. The women trembling. Akamaru whimpered as he tried to hide deeper in his owner's hood. Hinata fainted. Sakura fell to her knees. Kiba was on the verge of pissing himself and Satsuki started having flashbacks from that dreadful night. She grabbed a kunai and was about to end it all until Kakashi grabbed her wrist and shook his head. Tazuna was on the ground like Hinata. Shino was sweating and trembling a little. Kurenai's legs was lightly trembling and sweating. Kakashi had a bored look on his face. Haku was just like Kakashi. Naruto chuckled darkly and deeply. Haku started blushing. Naruto looked at Zabuza and started releasing higher amounts of chakra and killing intent along with bloodlust. The sky got darker. Crows came out of nowhere. The atmosphere grew colder and colder by the second. The bridge started to shake along with the water underneath the bridge. Red lightning strikes started striking around the bridge. The winds started to pick up faster than before, howling like wolves on the hunt. Naruto's chakra formed not one, not two, but three figures that everyone on the bridge feared. On Naruto's left was a reddish-orange fox with 9 tails, the Kyuubi no Yoko. On Naruto's right was a man that shivers down anyone's back just hearing his name. It was a man with black long hair that reached to his waist with a bang covering his right eye. This man was none other than Madara Uchiha. And towering over both of the figures was somebody you didn't not want to meet ever. This being was covered in white robes and purplish skin. It had 2 red horns, white long hair, an evil face, and in its mouth was a blade that it was holding with its sharp teeth. This was nobody but death itself. The Shinigami. Everybody stared at Naruto with fear. "Now Zabuza-sensei, shall we dance?" asked Naruto with a dark smirk. Zabuza gulped and got into his fighting stance. They stared at each other for a while. Soon a drop of water was coming slowly to the ground. As soon as hit the ground they took off. Once they came into the middle, the clash of swords sent shockwaves. Zabuza then tried to sweep Naruto from under his legs only for Naruto to jump over his leg. Zabuza wanted this and cut Naruto across his stomach. Naruto hissed in pain. Naruto then swung his sword in his left towards Zabuza only for him to block, leaving Zabuza open. Naruto used that and kicked Zabuza in the chest. Hard. Zabuza got sent flying back to the other side of the bridge but caught his footing. "Damn, that kid punched my damn lungs in my back. Doesn't matter, at least I cut him while he was up in the air. Fuck, this fucking cut stings like hell. Doesn't matter now. He might be slightly stronger than me but I am faster than him." Naruto then flashed behind him and slashed his back with both his katanas, leaving a big X on his back. Naruto then flashed in front of him, slashed his chest and tried to go for his stomach, but Zabuza slashed Naruto from his shoulder down to his right hip. Naruto tried to jump from the situation only to be stabbed in his left shoulder. Naruto cursed and jumped. He then looked at Zabuza and saw that Zabuza wasn't in good shape. He looked at himself and saw that his shoulder wasn't going to working for a while. "I'm going to finish this. Can't let this keep going. I may be immortal but Zabuza is not," Naruto thought as he pulled his mask down as he put his katana in his left hand in his mouth. Naruto then started to rise his chakra. Twin sword style. Howl of the demon fox, Naruto thought. He then took off at blinding speed. Before Zabuza could react, Naruto was in front of him and the only thing Zabuza could do was watch. When the smoke cleared, Zabuza was still standing until blood came from both his sides and fell to the ground unconscious. Naruto then took his katana out his mouth and pulled his mask up. He then summoned a medical fox to help Zabuza. He then summoned Akame. He talked to her for a while and put her on top of his head and walked to the group. As he got closer, everyone looked at him with wide eyes. "Naruto," Satsuki said as she saw her boyfriend in bad shape. She ran up to him and looked at him with worried and angry eyes. "Sit down, SATs, sit down," Satsuki yelled. Naruto flinched, never seeing her this angry. He complied and sat down as he watched Satsuki take out medical wraps and healing ointment. Satsuki look Naruto couldn't finish as he started coughing up blood. Don't talk. Save your breath, she said, not even looking up at him. Why would you do something so stupid like that, Naruto? Do you know how worried I was? What if something had happened to you? What if you got more than just stab wounds and cuts? What if you died? I can't lose you too, Naruto. You are the only thing I have left in this world. If you died, I couldn't live with it. I can't live without you, Naruto. Do you know how much I love you? Don't you know it hurts me seeing you get beat up like this? Do you? Satsuki yelled at Naruto. Naruto hung his head low as Akame whimpered. I'm sorry, he said. Sorry isn't going to cut it. Promise me you won't ever do something like that again. But, promise. Okay, I promise. How do I know you are going to keep your promise? She said as she got done wrapping the last wrap around Naruto. Naruto then pulled her closer and looked to make sure nobody was watching. Luckily nobody was, and he pulled down his mask and kissed her passionately. Satsuki blushed but started kissing him. After a good minute, they stopped to take a breath. I promise, Satsuki, said Naruto as he hugged her and Satsuki snuggled in his chest. I love you, you baka, Satsuki said with a gentle smile. I love you too, Haim, he said as he laid his head on top of hers. Oh I love birds and whatever the hell that is on Naruto's head. Come on, we are going to Tazuna's house. Kiba yelled. Satsuki and Naruto groaned. She looked at Naruto with a blush on her face. You want to cuddle when get to Tazuna's house? She asked with a blush while twiddling with her fingers. Naruto chuckled and picked her up bridal style, getting a little eep from her. Sure, why not, Suki-chan, he said as Shunshin in a bunch of bats to catch up with the others. After fighting Zabuza, Naruto and his team along with Team 8, Zabuza, and Haku, went to Tazuna's house. Tazuna introduced his daughter to the ninjas and had a slight blush seeing Naruto shirtless. She then told them where the rooms were. After Satsuki and Naruto got into the room, he looked at Satsuki. What? Don't tell me you forgot? Forgot what? I asked you to cut my hair when we got here. Oh, I'm sorry, Naru-kun. Well, how do you want it? Just do the best you can, Naruto said as he took his shirt and pulled his mask off, showing his scar on his neck going to his left side of the chin. Naruto then took out a clear orange bottle that looked like chopped up leaves. Naruto then took out a white piece of paper. Satsuki, who was cutting her boyfriend's hair, noticed what Naruto was doing and looked at him with a curious look. Naruto, what are you doing and what is that? I'm taking my medicine and it's called a blunt, said Naruto as he got done rolling up. He then used his fire affinity to light it. After it was lit, he put the blunt in his mouth and took a big puff and let it out. What does medicine do? Asked Satsuki. She knew she was asking too many questions, but her curiosity got the best of her. You sure are asking a lot of questions today, Naruto said with a chuckle as he took another puff of his medicine and exhaled it out. Satsuki blushed in embarrassment. Sorry, she said. It's okay. It's for my mental state. I have a different personality and have these miniature flashback of me getting abused. So in order for me to keep my sanity, they gave me medicine. Medicine to stimulate my mind and keep me at ease. But ever since I met my other personality, I haven't been having that many episodes. And plus we made an agreement to work with each other to protect the ones we love, Naruto explained. Satsuki listened to Naruto and couldn't but help be sad. As she was done with Naruto's hair, she put his hair in a ponytail. While she looked at Naruto, she couldn't help but blush at how handsome he was. She also noticed that his Uchiha genes were showing because his hair started to turn black, mixing with his blonde hair. Naru-kun, I'm done, said Satsuki. Naruto then got up and looked into the mirror with his blunt in his hand. Naruto had a smile on his face. Thanks, Suki-chan. I love it, Naruto exclaimed as he kissed her. She blushed as she turned around and saw Naruto finish that last bit of his blunt and opened up a window and flicked it out. He then walked to a chair that was in a room and sat down. He looked at Satsuki and patted his leg as if he was telling her to come sit in his lap. She obeyed and sat his lap and snuggled in his chest. He started to run his finger through her hair. Got to sleep with me, Satsuki-chan. Right next to me. I'll comfort you while you are safe, Naruto whispered as he kissed her forehead and rested his head on hers as they both drifted off to the world of dreams. Later that night, everyone noticed Naruto's new haircut and liked it, especially the girls. They were all eating dinner, having a good time talking with each other until a sudden incident. Why do all try? You're all going to die anyways. Inari, apologize now. Why should I? It's the truth. We are ninjas. We are going to take that Gateau bastard down. Exclaimed Kiba. Why? Why do you all even care? You all live luxurious homes and live wonderful lives because you are ninjas. You know nothing about suffering. Yelled Inari. Everybody paled, then slowly turned to Naruto. He had his head down. Inari looked at Naruto with rage. Are you even listening to me? And tell me, why the flying fuck should I be paying attention to a brat? He sits around bitches about everything? Naruto asked with a cold and deadly voice. The ninja was on the verge of losing his shit. So we don't know suffering, Well, let me give a brief story about everyone in this room. Naruto says as he points to his girlfriend first. She lost her whole clan in one night by the person she adored the most, her older brother. Naruto then points to Kurenai. She was called an outsider just because she didn't have a clan, even though she was born in the village. She was almost raped numerous times, but thank Kami the Hokage ordered an Anbu member to watch over her and help her when she is in danger. He points to Sakura. She's always bullied and has low self-esteem, but she trains and tries her hardest to be the best medic ninja she can be so people can stop bullying her. He points at Shino. He barely has any friends because he has something that he has absolute no control over, but he has to deal with it every day because everybody in his clan go through the same thing he does. He then points at Kiba and Akamaru. They are picked on in their clans because they are considered runts. He then points to Hinata. She is always put down by her father and is always being called all because she doesn't want to hurt her little sister because her mother's dying wish was to protect her little sister. He points at Kakashi. He's probably has the worst life out of everyone here. His father committed suicide because he was ridiculed for saving his friends from a mission. He watched his best friend get crushed by a boulder, then he had to watch his surrogate little sister die with his arm through her chest. Then he had to watch his sensei, the man who wanted to adopt him, watch him and his wife get killed. And now he spends 3 hours every day at their grave to spend time with them. He said. As he said this, everybody looked at Kakashi with new light as they saw him drop a lone tear. Then there was me, Naruto said as he stood up and took off his shirt. Kai. As soon as he said this, scars appeared all over Naruto's body. Everybody gasped, as Kakashi looked in horror and guilt. Naruto saw this and looked at Kakashi with gentle eyes. It's okay, Kashi ni. Don't blame yourself for not being there for me, only thing that matters is that you are here with me now. Naruto said with a smooth and gentle voice. Kakashi couldn't hold it in no more as started crying and shaking uncontrollably. As I was saying, I've suffered for close to 14 years of being tortured and nearly killed by the villagers in my own village because of something in my body that I can't control. Women would rape me, men would try to kill me, the kids didn't play with me, and everyone looked at me with fear and hate. Naruto said with a smile as tear came from his left eye then his right eye. Everybody was shocked. Naruto, you were raped by women? Asked Kurenai in horror. Naruto nodded. How many times, Naruto? The women in the room asked. So many times to the point where I almost couldn't have children. Naruto said with a whimper as his voice was quivering. It hurted so much. That's why I always hated going to the hospital. The nurses would always strap me up and rape me. They said they were doing it so the demon couldn't produce any children. The women were furious. And I want to apologize to the women for me and Kakashi reading Icha Paradise. It's the only way we cope with the pain we go through. We promise it's not that we want to make you mad. And I'm going to be honest. I'm a pervert, and I'm sorry it goes through my Uzumaki genes. Kakashi says he's sorry too. Naruto and Kakashi bow down to the women with tears in their eyes. The women just stare at them. As long as you don't read that stuff in public, I'm fine. They say in a unison. Naruto gets up and looks at Inari. You don't even know the true meaning of suffering. From what I can tell, you're the one living luxurious. You have a mother, I don't. You knew what it was like to have a father, I didn't. Be thankful for her, she won't always be here to put up with your bitching. Excuse me, I'm going to go outside for a while. He then got up and left and closed the door gently. I'm going to go ask him something, I'll be right back. Excuse me, Kurenai said as she left. Naruto was on the roof looking at the stars. As he was looking, the stars reflected in his eyes, making his eyes look like a beautiful galaxy. Naruto-kun. Naruto heard. He turned around and looked to see whose voice it was. "Oh, Knight-chan. If you don't mind me asking, why is it that you came up here with me?" Naruto asked. "How did you know that an Anbu was always protecting me from being raped?" asked Kurenai. Naruto looked at her, then to the sky, and smiled. Kurenai looked at his eyes and were drawn to how beautiful his violet eyes were, beautiful when he was looking at the stars. "Oh, that's your question? Well, that's simple, Knight-chan," Naruto said as he stood up, completely towering over her. He then looked down at her and she was drawn to his violet eyes. Naruto pulled his mask down, showing his face completely. Kurenai blushed a dark red. To her, Naruto had a godly face feature. "It's because I was the Anbu that saved you, Knight-chan," Naruto said with a smile that showed his sharp and surprisingly long canine teeth. Kurenai couldn't believe it. Her savior was Konoha's fallen angel himself. "Why?" she asked. "I don't know. I just wanted to protect you. I wanted to make sure you were safe. And I was going to always protect you even when you don't notice it. I'm your guardian angel," Naruto said as he kissed her forehead. He then turned around, not noticing that Kurenai was blushing madly. "Care to watch the stars with me?" he asked. "Sure," she answered. "Thank you, Naruto-kun, for everything," she said as she rested her head on his shoulders. "No need to thank me. I'm protecting you because you are precious and important to me," he said while resting his head on hers. "I would happily die for the people precious and important to me." "More times than one," said Naruto. Kurenai's eyes widened and smiled. She grabbed Naruto's right arm and hugged it. Naruto looked at her and smiled, then looked at the sky. "The stars are beautiful. I wish they could be out all day and night," Naruto thought as he continued to stare at the stars. This night was beautiful and he was going to cherish this beautiful night for eternity. Today was the day that Team 7 and Team 8 meet Gateau at the bridge. Team 7 and Team 8 have been training hard. According to Naruto's clone, Gateau find out that Zabuza and Haku stopped working for him. So he hired an army of Chunin ranked ninjas and thugs. Close to 2,000 men. Speaking of Naruto, we find him outside of Tazuna's house leaning against the porch, smoking. He was thinking if he should wear any ninja armor or keep on what he already had on. He looked down at his outfit. He was wearing a tight black tank top that showed his muscles, with black Anbu pants, with black combat ninja boots, along with his grandfather's black gloves. He was brought out of his thoughts when he heard the door open and saw Kakashi walk out. "Yo, Naruto. What is it, Kakashi ni?" asked Naruto as he took his blunt out of his mouth. "Oh, nothing. I was just checking up on you. To see if you were alright. Because of, last night," said Kakashi. "I'm alright. It just pissed me off," said Naruto as he took another puff of his blunt. "So what's the plan, Kakashi ni?" asked Naruto as he blew out smoke. Kakashi walked over to Naruto and leaned against the other side of the porch and pulled out his book. "Well, if your clones were right about Gateau having women and selling them, you can send 4 clones to the location of where the women are located. You should also leave 2 clones here at Tazuna's house. We know Gateau will try to send his thugs to get Tsunami and Inari. One of the clones can get them to a safe place while the other clone just deal with the thugs," explained Kakashi. Naruto sat there and listened to the plan. "And Gateau? Once we get the information and access to his bank accounts, we kill him and take his money and give it to the wave. He doesn't even deserve to live." "Understood," said Naruto as he took one last puff of the last bit of his blunt. He threw the bud down and stomped on it. Naruto and Kakashi were quietly watching the sunrise until Kakashi broke the silence. "So Naruto, Unknown to them, while they were talking, 2 women and 4 girls were up in the kitchen. While they were in there, the women were listening to everything." "How?" "Well, the window in the kitchen was open. I was wondering, how are going to deal with so many women? Knowing that the council put you in the CRA, I know it's gonna be hard to deal with so many women, so how are you going to do it?" asked Kakashi as he looked at his surrogate little brother. Naruto chuckled. This caught the women's and girls' attention who were listening to the 2 men talk. They were waiting for Naruto's answer. Who are these 2 women and 4 girls? These 2 women were Tsunami and Kurenai, and the 4 girls were Satsuki, Hinata, Sakura, and Haku. I plan on loving them equally and unconditionally. I plan on being honest and being loyal to them and show them love and respect and treat them as if they were queens, which they are. I have a lot of respect for women. And I always will. When I found out about my mother, I was sad that she died, but I was happy to find out if it wasn't for her I wouldn't be here. Did you know that, during the Nine Tails attack, she stopped the Nine Tails while still being weak from child labor and having the Nine Tails being ripped from her body? Not only that, she jumped in front of the Nine Tails claw and was impaled by the claw in order to save me. She was a strong woman. But back on topic, I'll treat them with love and care. I'll try to be the best for them, and all ask is for their love and loyalty. Knowing me, I probably can't take being heartbroken, said Naruto. The women and girls were beyond shocked. They didn't know what to say, so they just kept listening to the two brothers talk. So how do you feel about them, little bro? About who? The women and the girls in the house. How do you feel about them? Kakashi asked. Well, I love Satsuki, Haku, and Kurenai relationship-wise. Tsunami is like a kind mother to me. I'm still trying to get to know Sakura better, and I love Hinata as a sister, said Naruto. Hinata doesn't know, but Kiba has fallen in love with Hinata. You should see how he gets when you bring up Hinata around him. Naruto chuckled. In the kitchen, Hinata was shocked. She just found out that her crush was in love with her. After hearing that she did one thing she was good at, she fainted. So, are you going to tell them? I don't know, Kakashi. How am I supposed to tell them? Just be straightforward, said Kakashi with deadpanned look. Oh, so I'm just supposed to go up and be like, Oi Satsuki. I'm the strongest ninja in the elemental nations. Oh, that's not all. I'm also the famous SSS rank ninja Kitsune, also known as the fallen angel of the leaf. How am I supposed to explain that? Asked Naruto. In the kitchen, everyone but Kurenai froze. He's kidding, right? Asked Sakura fearfully. No, said Kurenai as she took a deep breath. He's being 100% honest. And trust me, that isn't the only thing that is shocking. Isn't that right, Satsuki? Asked Kurenai. Satsuki paled as soon as she caught on to what she was talking about. Shit, she's talking about Naruto's powerful ass family tree, thought Satsuki. Yeah, that's right. She stuttered out. Well, Naruto, I'm going to wake everyone up so we can meet Gateau at the bridge, said Kakashi. Alright, and tell the girls they can stop eavesdropping. I knew they were there the whole time, said Naruto while he had a smirk on his face when he heard the girls squeal. Okay. See you in a while, said Kakashi as he walked and closed the door. Naruto looked at the door and looked up at the sky and sighed. Something is telling me that I'm going to be pissed while doing this mission, Naruto said as he sat down and waited for everybody else. How long will it take them to be here, Naruto? Asked Kakashi. Naruto then bent down and closed his eyes. He then put 2 fingers on the ground and sent a pulse of chakra to the ground. They should be here in a minute. And it looks like he has hired more thugs, Naruto said. How many? Asked Kurenai. TCH. 3,000 men, said Naruto. Both teams paled. What the hell? This midget brought a whole army, thought Zabuza. TCH. This just got more troublesome, Naruto said, aggravated. Yo Naruto, where are your katanas? Asked Kiba. I left 2 at the house with my shadow clones and I got my mother's katana with me. It's just sealed, Naruto said. Well, isn't it a good time to take it out of the seal? Kiba said with a deadpanned expression. Sai might as well, said Naruto. He then pulled down his mask for the first time in front of everybody, making the girls who never saw his face blush. He then bit his thumb and slid it against his forearm, causing a puff sound along with a lot of smoke. As the smoke cleared, you could see a long katana made out of chakra metal that was 40 inches. The hilt was black and blood red with the kanji for demonic blade. All in all, the blade looked menacing, but it was a work of art. When Zabuza saw the blade, he paled. This is my mother's blade. The demonic blade. This is the most dangerous blade in the entire elemental nations. The reason why is because this blade is cursed. Once you have been cut or stabbed by this blade, it puts a curse on you, that looks like seal, that will later on kill you in 1 hour. Before I had the blade, the curse took long to kill an enemy. So my mother started working on a seal, but she never finished. So when I got it, I finished it and made it better. As soon as you get stabbed or even cut by this blade, the curse will move faster and aim for your heart. Once the curse finds your heart, the curse wraps around your heart and crushes it. Naruto explained with a sadistic smirk. Everyone paled listening to him. Yep, he still is sadistic as ever, thought Kakashi while sweating. And nobody can't pick up the blade unless it's me. If you even try, the souls in this blade will haunt your mind and make you go insane, eventually damaging your brain and killing you," Naruto said, grinning ear to ear. Now everyone was beyond scared at this point. To them, Naruto was carrying a haunted blade with the souls of dead people that has been killed. Naruto stopped grinning and looked. "They're here," Naruto said while growling a little bit. Everybody got in position. You could hear the footsteps of what sounded like an army on a bridge. Gateau that came into view with smug grin on his face. "So Zabuza, I see you betrayed me. TCH. I don't do free work, Gateau. You think I wasn't going to find out that you was going to betray me after I did your work, that you was to do it for yourself? Ha ha ha, doesn't matter. You was going to die anyways," he said with a smirk. Before Zabuza could say anything, something pierced the left side of his chest, closely to his heart. He looked down and saw an arrow and dropped to his knees. "Zabuza-sama," Haku screamed as she ran towards Zabuza. Before Zabuza could fall, Naruto caught him. "Hold on, Zabuza. Stay with me. Sakura, come help Zabuza." No, please Uncle Zabuza, I can't lose you too," said Naruto as tears started to fall from his eyes with a burning sensation. Zabuza looked up at Naruto and Haku and smiled. "Hey, this is the first time I ever seen you cry, brat. It doesn't fit you." "Hee," said Zabuza while coughing up blood. "Don't talk, Zabuza. Just save your breath and let Sakura heal you," said Naruto as Sakura was trying her best to heal him, but the arrow was too close to his heart. "His heart rate is dropping too fast, Naruto. I'm trying everything I can do," said Sakura as she was starting to sweat from using too much chakra. "Please Zabuza-sama," said Haku, who was crying and shaking uncontrollably. "Haku, you are the best daughter any man can ask for. I'm glad to have called you my daughter," Zabuza said as he wiped the tears from her cheeks. He then turned to Naruto. "Naruto." Zabuza started off. Naruto eyes widened as he heard Zabuza call him his name. This was their first Zabuza ever call him by his name. Hearing him say this made Naruto cry uncontrollably. It was then he knew. Zabuza wasn't going to make it. "My 3 years with you and Haku and the last week made me the happiest man of my life. Haku, I want you to take my original sword. And Naruto, I want you to get the one you gave me and take it back. I don't want anybody else having that masterpiece other than you. Protect Haku for me, Naruto. This my dying wish. One more thing." Zabuza stopped talking and sat up. He then grabbed Naruto into a hug. He smiled as he began to say his last words. "Give them hell, brat. Show them what happens when you mess with Konoha's angel of death." With that, Zabuza took his last breath and went limp. Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the mist, was dead. "Dad, dad, dad, d-a-a-a-a-a-d-d-d." Haku screamed from the top of her lungs. Naruto was frozen. "Ha ha 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 ha. Now that he's dead, there are no more problems. Alright men, killed them all. And keep the women alive. I want to have fun with them," Gateau said, malicious smirk. Everything got dark. Thunder started rumbling. The wind started to pick up. Crows started coming out of nowhere. Red lightning started striking around the bridge. Then everyone felt a killing intent and bloodlust that rivaled the Nine Tails. Everyone was frozen with fear. Every turned to see where it was coming from and was surprised to see it was coming from Naruto. He was being surrounded by black and gray deadly chakra. His eyes was covered by the bangs of his eyes. Tears were falling from his eyes. His chakra kept rising and was felt throughout the whole wave country. His killing intent and bloodlust had Gateau and his army feeling hopeless. Naruto then looked up, with his Sharingan glowing, but in a different pattern. The same pattern as his grandfather's. This was Naruto's Mangekyo Sharingan. He turned to and looked at Gateau and his men with a murderous look in his eyes. His chakra still rising, shaking the bridge violently. More storm clouds started to roll in, the wind picking up more speed, more crows surrounding the area around the bridge. It was then Naruto began to speak. "Not only did you kill my uncle, but you threatened to rape these women behind me? Very well then," Naruto said as he stood up and grabbed his mother's katana. "From now on, I'm not holding back anymore. I'm not standing on the sidelines to watch another person that is precious to me die when I have the power to stop it from happening. Today I will reveal my true self," Naruto said. As he stopped talking, 4 black wings came out of Naruto's back, leaving everybody in shock, especially Satsuki. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha Namikaze. son of the Red Death Kushina Uzumaki and the Yellow Flash Minato Namikaze, grandson of the Slug Princess Tsunade Senju and Blood King Arashi Uzumaki, and grandson of the Flash Goddess Mina Namikaze and the ghost of the Uchiha Madara Uchiha, and I am the fallen angel of Konoha. Mark my words, when I'm done with every last one of you I'm going to make sure Shinigami devours your soul." Naruto finished. Everyone on the bridge was frozen with fear. The only thing that was running through their minds were, he's the grandson of Madara, and he's Konoha's fallen angel. Then in a blur Naruto disappeared. Next thing everybody knew 20 heads were up in the air. 20 down, said Naruto. All of sudden fog covered the whole bridge. Kakashi eyes widen. Naruto knows the hidden mist jutsu, thought Kakashi. But everyone was brought out of their train of thought when Naruto started talking. 1 2 The devil is coming for you tilde. 3 4 Dead bodies on the floor tilde. 5 6 Dead men hanging from a lynch tilde. 7 8 Meet me at the devil's gate tilde. 9 10 The devil is back again tilde. Naruto said evilly with an evil laugh that made every body tremble with fear. Oh crap. See, Commander is not playing around, Kakashi said while trembling. Ah crap, I think I shitted my pants. Yeah, I shitted my pants. This is the power of a SSS rank ninja? Asked Shino. For the first time in his life, Shino felt fear. Hinata passed out after feeling the killing intent coming from Naruto. No, see, Commander isn't even using 25% of his power, said Kakashi. Everyone's eyes widen with fear. This isn't 25% of his power? Asked Kurenai, who was trembling with so much fear. Satsuki couldn't move. She never saw Naruto this angry. The amount of killing intent she was feeling was worse than that night. Everybody was brought out of their train of thought when they heard multiple screams. Thorn released thorn pillars. Naruto whispered to himself as he slammed his hands to the ground and thorn came from under the bridge and impaled 1,000 men. But Naruto wasn't finished. He made on hand sign and took a deep breath. Fire style great fire annihilation, Naruto thought to himself as black flames came from his mouth and burnt the impaled men on the thorns. He then dropped down from the ground, with his wings still out. He flapped his wings to get rid of the fog, and once he did that it looked like a full-blown massacre. Even though it was, he had killed 2,500 men in the last 20 minutes. Naruto grabbed his mother's sword and unsheathed it and started walking towards the men that were left. He then picked up speed and started jogging before going into a full-blown-out sprint. Every behind him watched in amusement and fear. Kakashi-sensei is about to take on 500 men by himself? Sakura asked with a horrified expression. Just watch, Sakura. And nobody asked questions. You are about to witness why he is called the Angel of Death. Kakashi said in a normal tone, but on the inside he was brimming with excitement. He was going to see his commander fight in hand-to-hand combat for third time in his life. Something that anybody would want to see. It's not every day you see an SSS rank ninja fighting. What are you imbeciles waiting for? Kill him, Gateau said in fear. The men let out battle cries as they started to run towards Naruto. Naruto and the men got closer and closer until they met in the middle. Once they met in the middle, Naruto used his katana to slice 3 men's throats. He then threw the katana far into the air as he started to fight hand-to-hand. One rogue ninja tried to catch him from behind but was too slow as Naruto elbowed him in the gut, making him cough up blood. Naruto then turned around and grabbed the man's neck and broke it. He then kicked the dead man's body with so much force that next 5 men were killed by the impact as their broken ribs stabbed their hearts. Naruto then saw kunai coming at him. He then turned and caught the kunai with his right hand and saw there was an explosive tag on the kunai. He took the explosive tag off the kunai and put it on the nearest thug and kicked the thug near 40 people. The explosive tag exploded, killing the 41 men. Naruto then took the same kunai and slit 3 men's neck. He then threw the kunai with so much force, with lightning added to the kunai, that it went through 5 men's head. He then saw his mother's katana dropping from the sky. He picked up a random sword as he started making his way through the crowd, slicing the rogue ninjas and thugs' head off. Then one rogue ninja Shunshin in front of him trying to slice him. Keyword, tried. Naruto threw the sword. He was using into the man's stomach, but he wasn't done. He then grabbed the man by the neck, slowly crushing it. Are you trying to dance with me as well? "Well, I'm sorry to say, but this will be your last dance," Naruto said with a sadistic smirk as he crushed his windpipe. Naruto then teleported to his mother's sword, since it had his teleportation tag on it, and landed in between 20 men. Before they could turn around, Naruto sliced their necks and they died before the curse could take over. 10 men were left, and these men were the ones that killed Zabuza. Naruto was covered in blood from head to toe. Naruto swung his sword to the side to get the blood off his sword. He then started walking towards the men and Gateau. One by one they started coming towards him. As the first man came towards him, Naruto cut both of his arms off. Before he could scream, Naruto beheaded him. The second man didn't put up much of a fight. Naruto ducked under the swing and cut the man's stomach so deep that his organs fell out. Naruto then took the man's sword and kicked it with so much force that it impaled the next two men, making them look like a human dango stick. Naruto took a kunai and added red lightning to the kunai and threw it into the next man's neck. Naruto then grabbed the sixth man by the throat and threw him down with so much force, barely leaving him conscious. But Naruto wasn't through there. He then stomped on the man's back, breaking his spine. Before the man could scream, Naruto stomped on his skull, crushing and killing him. Naruto used his flash step and sliced the remaining men and let the curse take over. Naruto came in front of the man he killed, Zabuza. The man was trembling with fear. Naruto was staring at him with murderous intent and bloodlust. Naruto didn't say anything. Naruto then raised his sword. The man begged to stay alive and asked that he'll do anything. "Bring my uncle back." "What? You said you'll do anything. Bring my uncle back." I can't do that." "Well, I can't spare your life then." Before the man could beg, Naruto brought down his katana with red lightning added to it, cutting the man in half. He then turned to Gateau, who had pissed his pants and was smelling like a pissy pamper. Naruto then put his hand together that made it look like he was praying. "Thorn release crucifix," Naruto said. As he said that, a huge black crucifix made of thorns was behind Gateau. Before Gateau could process what was going on, 4 kunais pierced him against the black thorn crucifix. 2 kunais embedded in his hands and 2 embedded in his feet. Naruto walked up to Gateau and stared at him with no emotions on his face. You could mistake him for his grandfather. "Hello, Gateau. Please, I'll do anything," Gateau said while crying. Now, there is no need to get all emotional now. I'm just here to ask a few questions. Now, where are you keeping the women and girls that you were planning on selling?" "They're at my main base in the basement. My keys are in the desk to unlock the." "No, I don't need any keys. I just need you to tell me where they were," Naruto interrupted. He made a single hand sign and multiple of clones were behind Naruto. "You 5 go save the women and children. I'll meet you there in 10 minutes. "You got it, boss. You stay with me," said Naruto as the clone nodded. "Now, Gateau, what's the code to that huge safe you got? And you better tell me the truth or you'll be missing a finger," Naruto threatened. 942,648,396. "That's the code, I swear," Gateau said while crying. Naruto turned to his clone. "You know what to do," Naruto said. The clone nodded and Flash stepped to the base. "So are going to let me go?" Gateau said with hope in his voice. Naruto looked at him and started chuckling. He started chuckling louder until it became a full-blown laughter that sent shivers down everybody's back. "You really think I'm about to let you go? After everything you did? Nah, you can forget about that," Naruto said with a smirk. He then rose 2 fingers into the air. As he did that, the crucifix started to rise. Naruto stopped the crucifix from rising. Naruto then took off his shirt and mask and threw it to the side. He then let all 4 of his wings come back to life. As he did that, he put his hands together in a prayer-like way again. After a minute passed by, he removed his hands from the prayer-like way and raised his left hand to the air as small red sphere kept rising until it was on the sky. Naruto then bent down, took off using his wings, flying up to get to Gateau's level. Naruto then closed his eyes. He opened them again to reveal his Mangekyo Sharingan. "For your sins, you shall feel the pain and suffering you caused everybody that you met. Feel their pain, Gateau." "Penance stare," Naruto said as he looked into Gateau's eyes. Gateau was feeling everything he caused. The rape, the murder, the abuse. He felt it all. After it was done, Gateau was brain dead. The sky started to get dark as it looked like it was night time. Then a big red circle made of nothing but red lightning showed up in the sky. It's completed, Naruto thought as he started to fly up towards the circle. Once he was close to it, he began to talk. Let the world know of this day. That anybody that harms anybody precious to me they will be dealt with. And I'm going to make an example just to show you how serious I am. Naruto said. He then raised his katana towards the circle as the red lightning struck him and the katana, but he was used to it. Everyone down below was looking in awe. Yo, Kakashi sensei, what is he going to do? Kiba asked. I don't even know. This is a jutsu, I never seen him use it before. But I can tell it's in sulfur monosulfide rank jutsu. Kakashi said. He looked up with excitement, wondering if he could learn it since he had a strong lightning affinity. Naruto looked at Gateau and pointed his katana towards him. Lighting style Kami's divine judgment. Naruto said as big bolt of 10 times wider than the bridge went down and struck Gateau. He then descend from the sky and look at what used to be Gateau, which is nothing more than dust particles. He then sealed his katana in his arm. He then started walking towards the group of ninjas. The group of ninjas looked at him like he was some majestic being. What? Is there something on my face? Naruto asked with a confused face that made the group sweat drop. He then looked at Zabuza's body and walked over to his body. Naruto then put both of his hands on the ground and concentrated. When he was done, a bouquet of black roses appeared in front of Naruto. Naruto opened his eyes and grabbed the roses and put them on top of Zabuza and said a small prayer. After he was done, he stood up and looked at Kakashi. I know you got a water jutsu. Can you please get this blood off of me? Asked Naruto. Kakashi nodded and did a small water jutsu on Naruto, washing the blood of him. He took spiky hair out of a ponytail and let it hit his back. The girls and Kurenai had nosebleeds looking Naruto's body covered in water. I'm going to save the women at the base. I'll be back in an hour. Naruto said as he teleported to the base. Once he got to the base, he saw his clones escorting the women out of the base. He stopped and sighed in relief that the women were still alive and not hurt. He was about to go until something pulled his pants leg. He stopped and looked down and saw a little girl who was no older than 4 with black slick hair, with grayish black eyes. She pointy ears and looked like an elf. She stared up at Naruto with cute expression. Naruto smiled and bent down to the girl's level. Hey, what's a cute little girl like you doing here by herself? Naruto said with a warm smile. The little girl blushed and answered. I don't know, mister. I don't know where I'm at. The little girl said. Naruto chuckled. Where are your parents? Naruto asked. The little girl looked down. I don't have any, mister. They bad men killed my mother when they took me away. I never knew my father. The little girl said with sad expression. Naruto looked at the little girl. He then got an idea. Hey, you want to come and stay with me? I'll take care of you. Asked Naruto with kind smile. The little girl looked up at him with wide eyes. Really? Of course. What's your name, cutie? Asked Naruto. My name is Ophis. The little girl now named Ophis said. Ophis. A pretty name for a pretty girl. My name is Naruto Namikaze Uchiha. But you can call me anything you want. Naruto said as he rubbed the little girl's head affectionately. See, can I call you Tusan? Ophis asked while fidgeting with her fingers. Naruto's eyes widened before the return normal and smiled at the little girl warmly. Sure, Naruto said. Come on, Ophis. We have to get out of here. Naruto said as he picked her up and put her on his shoulder. Hi, Tusan, the little girl said happily. The week has passed by and bridge has been built. We see Haku, Naruto, and Ophis at Zabuza's grave. Naruto sealed the sword he gave his uncle in his arm. When Haku got Zabuza's old sword, it divided into 2 twin katanas. They came to his grave to pay their respect on last time. Haku is leaning on Naruto's left arm, Ophis is holding Naruto's right hand. Well, Uncle Zabuza, I guess this goodbye. We'll come here often to visit and I promise I'll protect Haku with my life. Naruto said as he brought Haku closer to him and kissed her forehead. Haku, it's time for us to go back. Naruto said as Haku nodded. He then looked at Ophis and smiled. Come on, princess, it's time to go. Naruto said in a warm, deep voice. Okay, Tusan, Ophis said as Naruto picked her up and put her on his shoulder. He, Ophis, and Haku left Zabuza's grave saying goodbye one last time. Team 7 and 8 plus Haku and Office was at the gate of the bridge facing Tazuna and his family and the people of the wave. I can't thank you all enough. Especially you Naruto. You brought hope that was lost back to the wave, said Tazuna. I was just doing my job, old man Tazuna. Well, I guess this goodbye, Naruto said. Will you ever come back, Naruto ni? Asked Inari. Of course I'll come back, said Naruto. And with that, Team 7 and 8 along with Haku and Office left to go back to the Leaf Village. What should we name the bridge? A villager asked. How about the Great Naruto Bridge? Asked Inari. Nah, it's got to have a ring to it that will cause tourists to come, and that way the village will have more money, Tazuna said while thinking. Inari started thinking until it came to him. How about the massacre on the Great Naruto Bridge? Asked Inari excitedly. Tazuna thought about it and liked it as it did have a nice ring to it. Yes, for now on, this bridge shall be known as the Massacre on the Great Naruto Bridge, Tazuna said as the villagers started to cheer in an uproar. So you're telling me that Naruto slaughtered over 2,000 men? Yes, sir. And came out unharmed? Yes, sir. Not only that, but also managed to free the women that were held hostage at the base and saved a little girl. I think he named her Office. The child and the ice user will be staying with Naruto for now on. Kakashi finished. The Hokage sighed and started to rub his head while muttering. I'm getting too old for this shit. Is that all, Kakashi? The Hokage asked. I'm afraid so, sir, Kakashi said with a shrug. The Hokage nodded. You are dismissed. Kakashi nodded and disappeared in a purple lightning shushin. The Hokage looked to his right as he started to see somebody emerge from the dark corner. I see he is improving. He has a lot of potential. More than Madara and Hashirama combined. He will be something great for this village one day. If he can change how I once was before, then I know he can change anybody's heart. The mysterious figure stated. Yes, I know. The will of fire burns tremendously in him. Wouldn't you agree, Danzo? The Hokage said with a smirk. The figure, now known as Danzo, came out of the dark with a smile. Yes, you are right. I remember when he was just a little boy on the street looking for food. Look at him now. He's an 1 in a million prodigy, far better than Itachi and Minato. Awakened his Sharingan at the age 5 and matured it 3 months later. Became a seal master at the age of 9. A Kenjutsu master at the age of 10. Not to mention he joined the Anbu at the age of 5, became a captain around the age of 7, and became commander at the age of 10. If you ask me, when the boy reaches his prime, he will be legendary. Well, he already is when you think about it, Danzo said with small chuckle as Hiruzen joined in with him. The Hokage proceeded to snap his fingers. As he did that, an Anbu with a boar face mask appeared and kneeled. Bored. Go and tell Naruto I need him in my office now. Yes, Hokage-sama, Boar said with a nod and disappeared in a leaf shunshin. With Naruto and Office were walking around the village. Naruto wanted to show Office around the village and wanted her to have some fun since today was his day off. While they were walking, while Naruto was walking, they would stop by a store and Naruto would buy anything Office wanted. As they came out of a candy store, Office was on Naruto's shoulder with a lollipop in her mouth, while Naruto was carrying a big bag of sweets. He did the same thing his adopted daughter did, by putting a lollipop in his mouth and sealing the rest of the candy for later. That's one of the many things Naruto and Office had in common. They both had a sweet tooth. Another thing they had in common was they loved the color black. But Office liked wearing a dark color purple with black. Right now, Office had on a black shirt with a purple Uzumaki crest on the back of the shirt. She also had on black shorts with purple ninja sandals. Naruto just had on a black shirt with a blood-red Uzumaki crest on the back of his shirt, with black Anbu pants and black sandals. While Naruto was walking with his daughter, he couldn't help but smile a genuine smile. This was first time he was really happy. Yes, he was adopted and he was happy. But he had a warm feeling inside smiling at his daughter. This was his daughter, his child, his little princess, and he'll be damned if anyone tried to lay a finger on her. Toussaint? Can Office get a mask like you? Office asked. Now why would you want to get a mask? You shouldn't try to hide that pretty face of yours. Naruto said with a warm smile. I want to look cool like you, Toussaint. Office exclaimed happily. Naruto let out a deep laugh that caused everyone to look at him, especially the women. The villagers were shocked seeing Naruto being so nice, started to look down in shame at how they treated the boy. They could tell the boy was truly happy. Naruto, not noticing that the villagers and most of the females were watching him. Alright, I'll buy you a mask. But is there anything else you want while we are walking around? Naruto asked with a smile. Ophis looked around and saw two stands that had something she wanted. One stand had an Anbu mask that was shaped like a dragon's head and the other stand had a dragon plushie. Ophis looked at both of them with stars in her eyes. Naruto looked at her and chuckled. Is that what you want, princess? Naruto asked with a smile. Ophis nodded vigorously. Naruto, with Ophis still on his back, walked over to the first stand with the dragon mask. Naruto started to realize everyone was watching him, but he paid no mind to it. Hello, sir. I was wondering how much that mask is. My daughter has seemed to taken a liking to the mask. Naruto asked respectful. The owner was shocked. He never knew that Naruto was this respectful. He felt guilty for kicking the poor boy out of his store, but he thought of a way to repay the boy. Oh, this? Well, it's $15. And I don't know how the yen currency works, so I'm just going to use US currency, the man replied. But I'll give it to you for free, the man said with a smile. Naruto was shocked. Sir, I can't take this for free. Please let me pay for it, Naruto said nervously. The man raised his hand. He then walked over and gave the mask to Ophis. Ophis started giggling with pure joy and held onto the mask tightly but carefully. The man looked at Naruto with a sad smile. Please take it, I insist. It's my way of saying sorry of how wrongly I treated you, the man said. Naruto looked at the man flabbergasted. Tears came from Naruto's eyes. Thank you, sir. You don't know how much this means to me, Naruto said with a quivering voice. The man patted Naruto on the back and gave him a warm smile. Anytime, Naruto. The man then walked back to his stand. Shortly after that, the woman who owned the plush stand came close to Naruto and Ophis. She gave both of them a warm smile. She got down to Ophis's height and patted her head. Ophis giggled and it brought a small smile to his face. The woman then gave Ophis the dragon plushie. You be a good little girl for your Toussaint, okay, princess? The woman said with a motherly smile. Okay, pretty lady. Ophis be really good for Toussaint, Ophis said with an innocent smile. The woman couldn't help but squeal at how cute the little girl was. She stood up, looked up and stared at Naruto. You have sweet little girl, she said with a smile. Naruto looked down at his daughter and smiled. I know, she's the best daughter anybody can ask for, Naruto said in deep, warm voice that made the woman blush. I could watch over here while you go on missions. That's if you don't mind. I wouldn't mind watching her. I've always wanted kids, but sadly I can't have any, the woman said sadly. Naruto looked at the woman shocked at first, but that quickly changed with a look of sadness listening to woman. Sure, I wouldn't mind, Naruto said with a warm smile. Really? The woman asked with tears at the corner of her eyes. Naruto saw this and wiped away the years. Sure, I was looking for somebody to that, but I guess I didn't have to look. Thank you. The woman blushed in embarrassment. Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Naomi. Naomi. A pretty name for a beautiful woman. Thank you, Naomi. This really means a lot to me, Naruto said with a smile, making the woman blush. Well, I have to go, Naomi. Will I ever see you again? Naruto asked. Of course. Here, this is my address. Whenever you are going on a mission, just come to this address, Naomi said with a smile. Great, I'll see you soon then, Naruto said as he grabbed Ophis's tiny hand. Bye-bye, pretty lady, Ophis said with a smile while waving. Naomi just waved back with a small smile. 20 minutes later, Naruto and Ophis were walking side by side. Naruto then sensed that Satsuki and Sakura were just around the corner along with some other people. He kept walking until he turned around the corner and saw a dude with purple makeup and a black catsuit. Behind him was a beautiful girl with dusty blonde hair in 4 ponytails and a large fan on her back. Naruto knew that Shukaku's container was in the tree but wasn't worried about him at the moment. He then looked at the boy with the catsuit again and saw something that made his eyes widen before it turned into glare. Everyone didn't notice Naruto was there until he spoke. Now why the hell do have you my little brother in your hands? Naruto asked coldly, shocking everyone there. Satsuki and Sakura knew who it was, but the Sand siblings didn't. The dusty blonde-haired girl looked and saw who was talking. Once she saw where the voice came from and started to blush. She saw a tall boy who looked to be 5 feet 9. He had well-defined muscles and body build of that of a swimmer and built for speed. He had long black hair with 2 chin-length bangs with the right covering his right eye. He also had his hair in a ponytail that reached the middle of his back that was tied with a blood-red band. She looked at his eyes and somehow got lost into his violet orbs. She was snapped out of his daze when she heard the 2 girls scream his name. Naruto-kun, Satsuki and Sakura said at the same time. Naruto looked at the 2 girls. Yo, Sakura-chan, Satsuki-heim. What's going on? Naruto asked. Before they could reply, the dude with makeup replied. This brat ran into me. And I am about to teach him a lesson. He said, you do know that's the 3rd Hokage's grandson, right? Naruto asked deadly with his Sharingan flashing. The boy in the catsuit paled and dropped the little boy. The little boy got up and ran to Naruto and hugged him. Thanks Nii-san, the little boy said happily. Naruto rubbed the boy's head. Sure, no problem Konohamaru, why don't you take Office to park? I'll be there in a little while. Okay, come on Office, let's go. To-san, Office said while trembling. Naruto got down to Office's height and looked at her worryingly. What's the matter Office? Naruto asked with concern. Office only pointed to tree. Naruto was surprised that she sensed him, but he already knew he was there. He's scaring me To-san, Office said while her bottom lip was quivering. Naruto looked at Office and kissed her forehead and put his forehead against hers. Hey, it's going to be alright princess. Don't cry. I know you are scared, but you have to be strong. You shouldn't be crying with a pretty face like that. Now run along with Konohamaru. I'll meet in a little while. Here's a bag of candy. Have fun, okay? Naruto said as he saw Office start to brighten up. Okay, Office will have lots of fun. Love you To-san, Office said as she gave Naruto a quick kiss on the cheek and ran to go with Konohamaru. Naruto chuckled but took a deep breath. Naruto slowly looked up to the tree with his Sharingan activated. Get your ass down here before I kill you. Now, Naruto said in his Kyuubi-like voice. The boy then appeared in a sand shunshin. Gaara, Kankuro said. Shut up, before I kill you, Gaara said, making Kankuro pale. Gaara then looked at the girl. Temari, he said. He looked at Naruto with killing intent and bloodlust. Mother wants your blood, he said, still releasing his killing intent and bloodlust, causing everyone except Naruto to start sweating. Naruto just scoffed. You called that killing intent? And don't tell me that's your bloodlust? Naruto said as he started to walk over to the boy. Once they got face to face, Naruto stood over the boy like a giant. He then looked down with an evil look that made him look too much like Madara. Let me show you how it's done. As soon as he said that, Naruto let a large amount of killing intent and bloodlust on Gaara and Kankuro. Kankuro was shook to his core and couldn't move, his body trembling badly. You couldn't tell because he had on all black, but Kankuro pissed himself. Kankuro eventually fainted. Naruto killing intent and bloodlust kept rising as he stared down at Gaara. Gaara, at this point, for the first time ever, was utterly terrified. Terrified wasn't even the word. Gaara was horrified. He stared at Naruto, shaking badly. His eyes widened when he saw what was behind Naruto. Behind Naruto was strongest of the tailed beast himself in all his glory. Staring at Gaara with burning hatred. Staring down at Gaara was the Nine Tails himself. He let out a roar that would forever haunt Gaara. Naruto then stopped raising his killing intent and stared to Temari, who seemed to be turned on. Naruto noticed that she was rubbing her legs together and was breathing heavily. The fuck? Naruto thought. He walked up to Temari, towering over her. Naruto then called her name softly and deeply. Temari, he called, but it just made her blush more. Naru-kun, you turned her on. Satsuki said. I know that, I just don't know what to do about it. Naruto wind. Let her kiss you, Satsuki exclaimed. What? Naruto asked dumbfounded. Look Naruto, I know you are going to have more lovers than me, but just remember I will always be your first. So let her kiss you or sleeping on the couch tonight. Satsuki yelled. Naruto paled. He then looked at Temari and sighed. He lifted up her chin softly. Temari jumped quickly on Naruto and kissed him deeply. She then slipped her tongue in his mouth, exploring his mouth. After 2 minutes of making out, she hugged on Naruto tightly. Am I going to see you again? She asked. Yes, we will see each other again. In the meantime, I think you should get your brothers back to where you are staying at. Naruto said. She nodded and hugged him tightly and let him go. She kissed him on last time and dragged her brothers away. 30 minutes later. Where is he? Naruto asked. As if on cue, Kakashi showed up. Yo, sorry I'm late, I had to go get these Chunin exam forms for you. He said as passed it out to them. Turn those forms in by the end of the week, and be there at 8 a.m. And don't be late, Kakashi said as he disappeared in purple lightning. Naruto turned to the two girls. We're doing this Chunin exams and we are winning, Naruto said with determination. The girls nodded with determination. Right, well I have to go Naruto-kun, Satsuki. I have to do some work at the hospital, Sakura said and she began to run off. You go home and take a shower, I'll be there in a while. I have to go get office and something to eat. Do you want something while I'm gone? Naruto asked his girlfriend. Satsuki started to think. Sure, bring me some dango on the way back. Yes ma'am, Naruto said as he lifted Satsuki's head and kissed her lips passionately. As he was about to shunshin, an Anbu with a boar mask kneeled in front of Naruto. Commander, Hokage-sama has requested your presence, Boar said. Naruto sighed and made 2 shadow clones. You go get office. And you go get some food for tonight and don't forget Satsuki's dango. The shadow clones nodded and flashed away. He noticed that Satsuki was gone. So he looked at Boar and nodded his head. Boar knew what his commander meant and disappeared in a leaf shunshin. Naruto looked up and sighed. Well, let's go see what Gigi wants, Naruto said to himself as he disappeared in a flock of bats into the night. Beep beep beep, smack. So today is the day? Yawn, well might as well get up and get my stuff ready. Today was the day, the first part of the Chunin exams. We see Naruto getting out of the bed, stretching and getting his ninja equipment ready. After getting his katanas, ninja wire, ninja scrolls, kunais, paper bombs, and other ninja equipment ready, he went to take a shower. After showering, Naruto went into his room and started choosing what to wear. Should I my mother's coat or my father's? Since I'm wearing all black, I'll go with mom's coat, Naruto said as he finally made up his mind. His mother's coat was similar to that of his father's, but instead of being a white coat with red flames, his mother's coat was black with red flames at the bottom of the coat. On the back of the coat, it had the kanji for Red Death, Akaishi, in blood red. After that, Naruto got the rest of his clothes, which consisted of a black, tight, long-sleeve shirt, black Anbu pants, black combat ninja boots, and his grandfather's black gloves. He got his father's armbands that he used to wear around his arms and put it around his arms. He then put his hair in a ponytail with his mother's blood red ribbon she used to wear on her missions. After getting ready, Naruto went to Office's room to wake her up. When Naruto introduced Office to his foster mother, Yugo, she instantly fell in love with little Office and started to spoil her when she got the chance. They instantly started to bond when they both found out they liked the same color. Ever since then, Office and Yugo have been inseparable from each other. Getting out of his thoughts, Naruto made it to Office's room. Naruto knocked on the door and didn't get no answer, so he knocked again. After 5 minutes, Naruto went into her room and made his way to her bed and sat down gently. Naruto stared at his daughter and smiled at how peaceful she looked. He gently got her hair out of her face and started to shake her gently. Naruto said in a smoothing, melodic, deep voice. It's time to get up. As he said that, Office started to gently open her eyes. She turned and saw who woke her up. Once she saw who it was, she smiled brightly and hugged her father. Good morning, To-san, she said happily. Naruto smiled and pet her head and kissed her forehead. Good morning, my little Haim. Did you sleep well? Naruto asked with a warm smile. I had a dream that I was a big dragon. And there were people with white wings, black wings like yours and wings like bats. And there were other dragons too, Office said while moving her hands in a cute gesture. Naruto laughed heartily. That's an interesting dream, Haim. But today I have to go the Chunin exams, which means I won't be with you until the day is over. But today you are going to Naomi's house today, Naruto said. You mean the pretty lady? Office said with a cute confused face and a tilt to her head. Naruto laughed and petted her head. Yes, the pretty lady. Now go find something to wear while I go cook some breakfast, Naruto said. Okay, To-san, Office said as she got up and ran to the bathroom. Naruto chuckled and went downstairs. 30 minutes later, To-san, that breakfast was good, Office said while sitting on Naruto's shoulder with a cookie in her hand. They were walking down the street to Naomi's house. Thank you, Haim. I knew you would like it. Naruto said with a chocolate bar in his hand. For you to be 4-year-old, you sure do know how to pick out something to dress in. Naruto said as he looked up at his daughter. Office giggled. I learned from the best. She replied. Office had on a dark purple turtleneck, with black pants and violet sandals. She also had her dragon mask on the side of her head with a backpack on that had her sweets and her dragon plushie. Naruto, just like Office, had his Kitsune Anbu mask but it was sealed. Office looked down at her father and her eyes widened. Her father didn't have on his mask. "To-san, you don't have on your mask?" Office asked in shock and disbelief. Naruto laughed at his daughter's antics. "I know. You have a good-looking father, don't you?" Naruto asked with a smirk. Office didn't know what to say. This was the first time she seen her father without his mask on. Hell, he would even sleep with the mask on. Now she's looking at her father's face for the first time. She would mistake him for an angel. And that wasn't the part that shocked her. Her father had freaking whiskers. How she doesn't know, but being the curious 4-year girl she is, went and rubbed her father's whiskers. Naruto, being caught off guard, blushed and did something around the women he would soon regret. He purred. Did he just purr? Yes, it was so cute. Kawaii. Look, he's blushing. Smiling face, smiling face, smiling face. The women looked at him with hearts in their eyes. Office looked at her father with stars in her eyes. She started to love playing with her father's whiskers. Office, can you please stop? To-san's whiskers are very sensitive. Naruto said while blushing from embarrassment. Office stopped and pouted. HMPH. Okay, she said. I'll let you touch my whiskers after the first part of the Chunin exams. Okay, Naruto said. Office looked at him with stars in her eyes and nodded vigorously. Naruto laughed. He then looked and stared at a 2-story house. We hear Office, Naruto said. Office looked at the house in awe. Naruto then went up to the house and knocked. They waited and heard the door unlock then start to open and there she was. Naomi in all her glory. Oh hello Naruto-kun, what can I do for you? She asked while slightly excited. Well, I was wondering if you could watch little Office for me today. The Chunin exams are today and my mother is working and I have nobody to watch her. Naruto said while scratching the back of his head, smiling sheepishly like a certain namikaze. Sure, I would love to keep Office, she said while smiling at Office. She then looked at Naruto and stared at him with wide eyes. Naruto-kun. You don't have on a mask, she said while staring at the angel in front of her. Yeah, I know. I wanted to try something today, Naruto said with a charming smile that made her blush. He then got Office from his shoulder and put her down. He then got down on one knee and kissed her on the forehead. I'll be back later on today, okay Haim? Naruto said with a smile. Okay To-san, she said while hugging his neck and kissing his cheek. He gave her a smile and hugged her back. He then stood up and looked at Naomi. Thank you Naomi. I appreciate your help, he said with a warm smile that caused her to blush. And no need to thank me Naruto-kun. I really didn't mind, she said while looking down. Naruto chuckled and kissed her forehead. She was so shocked she just looked at Naruto with wide eyes. That's my thank you. I have to go now. I'll see you later. Oh, and by the way, you look cute when you blush, Naruto said with a smirk while disappearing in black rose petals. Naomi didn't know what to do, she just looked at the spot where Naruto once was. She got out of her thoughts and grabbed Office's hand and went inside. The Ninja Academy. Satsuki and Sakura were sitting and waiting on Naruto. They were beginning to worry that they wouldn't make it in time until they saw black flames erupt out of nowhere. They already knew who it was. Sorry I'm late Satsuki-chan, Sakura-chan, I had to drop Office off, Naruto said. While he was talking, the two girls were shocked. This is the first time they saw Naruto walk around without a mask. It was shocking. And before you ask, yes I know I don't have my mask. Now let's go or we are going to be late, Naruto said as he touched both of the girls on the shoulders and Shunshin inside of the building. We see Team 7 talking among themselves until they saw an incident going on. Come on, let us through. Yeah, let us through. Team 7 looked at the team and didn't say anything but kept walking. Well, that was until they was stopped by the team causing a scene. Hey, you three stop, a voice said. The three of them stopped and Naruto sighed. What is it that you want? We are already late. Naruto asked. What is your name? The person asked. Don't you think it's rude to ask somebody else's name without you telling them yours? Naruto asked with an raised eyebrow. This caused the person to glare at him. My name is Neji. Neji Hyuga. The person now named Neji answered. And these are my teammates, Ten and Rock Lee. He said as introduced his team. The girl looked at Naruto and noticed that he had 3 katanas strapped to his back and a coat she knew all too well. Hey you, with the long black hair and a ponytail. She yelled out as she began to walk up to the tall boy. Once she got there she looked up at him. Naruto looked at her with a raised eyebrow. What is it do you want? Naruto asked. I'm just wondering where you got that katana from and that coat from. She asked. Why do you want to know? Naruto asked while getting irritated. Oh, I'm just wondering. Do you know how to use that katana or are you just wearing it for show like that valuable coat you got on now? She said with a smirk that caused Naruto glare at her deadly, which caused the temperature to drop drastically. Ten felt a shiver go up her spine and looked up at Naruto with fear in her eyes. Are you implying that I can't use my mother's sword and that I'm just wear her coat for show, you mongrel? Naruto asked in a cold deep voice that sent chills down everyone's back. Ten paled. Oh crap, I just disrespected my idol son? She thought. She then looked at his violet eyes that gave off look of death. I am sorry, Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. And you, Ten right? Well, be careful of what you say to me, or I will show you how good I am with these katanas. Naruto said menacingly, shocking everybody around him. Neji got of his shock and walked up to Naruto and looked at him with a glare. Is that threat, Namikaze-san? Neji said while raising his chakra. Naruto looked at him and activated his matured Sharingan. Me? Making threats? No, Hyuga-san. Naruto said with a dark laugh that caused Neji to take a step back. I'm a man off my words. What I said wasn't a threat. Matter of fact, it was far from that. What I said was in promise. Naruto said as he amplified his voice with chakra, making him sound like Kurama. Neji backed up in fear. Come on Satsuki and Sakura. Let's go, we only got 10 minutes left. Naruto said as he grabbed both of their shoulders and shunshin to their destination. Kashi ni? What are you doing here? Naruto asked with a tilt to his head. Kakashi laughed at his little brother. I came to wish my team good luck even though I know you 3 are going to win this. He said with a smirk. Even though you can't see it, you could tell he was smirking. Well, go in there and kick some ass. Kakashi said and disappeared in purple lightning, which caused the team to laugh. Naruto looked at the 2 girls and smiled. You girls ready? He asked. They nodded and answered in a union. Hi, well then let's get this show on the road. Naruto said he kicked the door, causing the hinges to come off. Every looked at the door to see who it was. Once team came into view, the girls in the room had heart eyes while staring at Naruto, and the same could be said with the boys as they stared at Satsuki and Sakura. Yo, Naruto said, causing some people to sweat drop. Well, that is one way to make an entrance. A dude with glasses said as he and the other rookie teams walked up to Team 7. And you are? Asked Satsuki. My name is Kabuto, he said as adjusted his glasses. Oi, Kurama, you smell that? Naruto asked our favorite tailed beast. Yeah, he smells like snakes. He could be a spy for Orochimaru. I got a bad feeling about this kid. If he is a spy for Orochimaru, that only means one thing. Kurama stated. Orochimaru I planning on invading the Chunin exams. But why? Why now all of a sudden? Naruto thought, and then it came to him. He is here for Satsuki's eyes. That's why he is here. My guess is that he will most likely make his move during the second part of the exams. But isn't this year different from any other Chunin exams? Kurama asked. Yes, not only will different teams from the 5 great nations and other smaller villages participate, but we will be recorded and it will be watched all over through the great nations. Naruto replied. When I get my hands on him, somebody is going to be very pleased. Naruto thought with a smirk. Kurama paled. You aren't summoning him, are you? Kurama asked. You damn right I'm summoning him. He's been trying to get his hands on Orochimaru for years now, and I will finally let him have his wish. Naruto said with a sadistic smile. Whatever you say, kid. I'm going back to sleep. Night. It's freaking morning, you lazy ass fox. Naruto yelled mentally, but the only thing he heard was snoring. After he was done talking with Kurama, he opened his and heard Neji ask Kabuto something. Give me information on Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Neji said, which caused everybody to stop what they were doing and look at Kabuto. Kabuto's eyes widened, then looked at the tall boy and felt a chill go up his spine. Well. Okay, let's see. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Ah, here we go. Kabuto said as he looked at the card. He paled and almost fainted. Well, get on with it, Neji said with an irritated attitude. Alright, well it says here he has completed 40 D ranks, 85 C ranks, 200 A ranks, 350 S ranks, 100 sulfur monosulfide ranks, and 95 SSS ranks. He has a bridge named after him, the wave called the Massacre on the Great Naruto Bridge, where he slaughtered and killed 3,000 men by himself. He has 3 strong affinities, which are lightning, fire, and wind, but mastered all nature affinities. He has 2 strong affinities like no other, which are his lightning and fire affinities. His lightning is red and he produces black flames. His parents are Minato Namikaze, also known as the Yellow Flash of the Leaf, and Kushina Uzumaki, also known as the Red Death. He also has 4 bloodlines that are unknown. Kabuto in fear. Everybody looked at Naruto with wide eyes and fear. Gaara looked at Naruto with so much fear in his eyes that the demon inside of him was begging him to stay away from him. What are you? Kabuto asked with fear. Naruto looked at him and activated his Sharingan for a brief second. The devil. Naruto responded with a dark voice, causing some people to pass out. The doors then opened and Naruto looked to see who was there and saw Ibiki. Ibiki looked around the room and saw Naruto and froze. Naruto then started doing Anbu hand signals that Ibiki understood fully. Orochimaru is here. Tell Hokage-sama immediately. I'll deal with him once I find him. Also, Kabuto is a spy. Once Naruto was done, Ibiki's eyes widened fully, but he then nodded and began to talk. Alright maggots, listen up. You have 1 hour to finish this test. If you get caught cheating, that's -2 points. If you get caught cheating 5 times, you and your team are disqualified. Any questions? No? We'll let the first part of the Chunin exams begin, Ibiki said as everyone started doing their test. An hour later, Tilda. So nobody else leaving? Well then, you all pass, Ibiki said with a smirk. What? What is your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony. What? What do you mean we pass? The test was to see how good can you get intel without being caught, and the 10th question was just to see if you could handle the pressure of taking risks as a Chunin. Naruto stated. Couldn't have said it better, Naruto. Now, before Ibiki could say anything, somebody jumped through the window with a large banner. This person was none other than Anko. The males in the room were drooling because of her revealing outfit. She looked all over the room and saw how many teams were left. She was about to say something to Ibiki until she saw somebody she didn't see in a long time. Naruto-kun? She asked with wide eyes. Naruto stopped what he was doing and looked at Anko with a smile. Yo, Anko-chan, how's it going? Naruto said with a warm smile. The next thing he knew, he was tackled and his head was in between some. Baka, where have you been? Do you know how much I missed you? She asked while on the verge of tears. Oi, Anko, as much as I love this position, this isn't the place to do it, plus I can't breathe. Naruto said as he began to turn blue. Oh, I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, Anko said with an embarrassed blush on her face. Naruto chuckled and kissed her forehead. Come on, we will have plenty of time to talk after this. Plus I have somebody you should meet, Naruto stated. Anko nodded her head. Alright maggots, listen up. Meet me at the Forest of Death tomorrow at 9:30 AM and don't be late or you are disqualified. She explained. Alright, you are dismissed, she stated. Everyone left except for Satsuki, Temari, and Anko. Alright, Satsuki, you mind if we spend the night at your compound? Naruto asked. Naruto-kun, I don't mind at all, Satsuki said with a small smile. Alright, great. I'm going to pick up Office and I'll meet you 3 there, Naruto said as he disappeared in a murder of crows. Who is Office? Anko asked. You'll see. It's a surprise, Satsuki said while Temari just smiled happily. The 3 girls began to leave out of the academy. Hokage's office. So you telling me that Orochimaru is going to try and invade the second part of the Chunin exams, and Naruto said he would deal with him? Old man Hiruzen asked Ibiki. Yes, Hokage-sama. And he is after Satsuki's eyes? Yes, Hokage-sama, Ibiki answered. Alright Ibiki, you are dismissed, the Hokage said. Ibiki then bowed in respect and Shunshin out of sight. The old man began to rub his head in frustration. I'm getting too old for this shit, the Hokage stated. He could have sworn he heard an Anbu snicker at his comment. We see a boy running down a dark hallway as fast as could, trying to find anybody in the house alive, but so far the only thing he has found was dead bodies. As he kept running, he looked out the window and saw 5 people standing on what looks like string. Behind them was a reddish-pink moon. The boy heard a scream, but it quickly went away. The boy started running again while picking up more speed. Why are they here? The boy thought to himself. What is Night Raid doing here? He asked himself mentally. Outside, it looks like somebody started doing the job before us. A man with green hair stated. Ah man, I wanted to bash someone's head. A yellow-head woman whined. And it looks like he's leaving no survivors. A tall, muscular dude in armor pointed out. Look, he either stabbed them in the chest, sliced their throat, or cut their head clean off. The armored man stated. Then they all heard a scream coming from the back off the yard. What should we do, Akame? A pink-haired girl with a large gun asked. Let's go check out what that scream was coming from. The girl, known as Akame, who had a katana by her side. Everybody nodded and went to the backyard. As the group got there, the smell of blood got stronger. Then they say a brown-haired boy coming out of the bushes full speed. As he was running, Night Raid jumped in front of him. The boy was shocked to see them come out of nowhere. He came to a stop and stared at the group. What's going on here? The boy asked. Tatsumi? Is that you? What are you doing here? The yellow-haired girl asked. The boy, now named Tatsumi, turned to see who called his name. As soon as he found her, he gasped and pointed an accusing finger at her. You, hee. Hi, she said nervously. Don't, hi, me Leone. You stole my money, Tatsumi stated. Sorry, she said. What kind of fucking apology is that? Tatsumi asked. Before she could respond, a scream came out of nowhere. Tatsumi, please help me. Everybody looked to see a girl with blonde hair and a blue dress bleeding heavily. Tatsumi was about to run to help her, but Akame stopped him. What are you doing? Let me go, he yelled. No, she simply stated. Why? Just watch, she said. Tatsumi, knowing he was going to be able to move, just simply watched. Please, anybody, help me. She kept screaming until 2 sharp objects, which looked like kunais, pinned her hands against the tree. Ah, she screamed. Night Raid and Tatsumi was trying to find out who was doing it, but stopped as soon as they heard a dark, demonic voice started talking. 1-2, the devil is coming for you, tilde. 3-4, dead bodies on the floor, tilde. 5-6, burning souls in the devil's pit, tilde. 7-8, meet me at the devil's gate, tilde. 9-10, the devil is back again, tilde. Ha 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 ha. Who the hell is that? Tatsumi asked while shaking in fear. Night Raid couldn't say anything because they too were afraid. Akame for the first time was afraid. No, it can't be him, she said while backing up in fear, dropping her katana in the process. Who is it, Akame? Leone asked while shaking. Before she could answer, a flock of crows appeared out of nowhere. Everybody looked in shock and horror as they were wondering where this flock of crows came from. Then crows came together and started to make a figure. Once the crows disappeared, everyone was shocked to see a man. The man was tall, taller than the armored man. This new man stood at 6 inches 11 and had lean, muscular body built for speed. The man had on a black long-sleeve shirt, black pants and black combat boots. He also had on some black fingerless gloves. Even though he had his hair in a ponytail, his hair stopped to the back of his legs and he had 2 bangs going past his cheeks. He also had an earring on his left ear and a ring on his left hand. He also had on necklace with a blue crystal. This caused the girls to blush heavily. Even the armored man had a small blush on his face. Oh my, shush Bullet, why the hell is he so tall? Oh, are you mad Lubbock? Shut it mine. Oi, be quiet, he's about to do something. Tatsumi whispered, yelled. Everybody stopped what they were doing and watched the man. The man then pulled his mask down and his canine teeth got sharper and he bit his thumb. He then pulled his mask up and slid his thumb across the scroll in his right hand. As he did that, the scroll went up in smoke. As the smoke cleared, everybody's eyes widened. The black katana looked exactly like Akame's, but the hilt was black and the kanji for Forbidden Angel, Kinjiro Reton Tenshi. The blade was longer and had deadly, menacing, and evil presence. The man began to walk towards the girl pinned to the tree. Please, I didn't do anything. Please don't kill me, she begged. The man stopped and looked at the girl. Pathetic, the man stated. You and your family killed all these people for your own selfish desires. It's trash like you and your family I despise the most. The boy you picked up. What was his name? Tatsumi, wasn't it? Would be dead right now in that huge shed right now along with his best friend. I managed to save the girl because whether you know it or not she was still alive. Barely had an heartbeat. The boy was dead when I got there. Do you know how I'm going to feel to tell that boy that he lost his best friend and that his other friend is on her deathbed? But I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to save her and bring her back to that boy. But you on the other hand. Oh foo. You are going to die the most agonizing death ever. You are going to the same pain that you brought upon those you have wronged and killed for no reason. Foo, I'm going to have fun breaking you. The man stated. Tatsumi was shocked then brought to tears. This man who he barely even knew tried to save his best friend but couldn't. At least he saved Sayo. Thank you so much. Tatsumi thought to himself. Look, his eye is changing colors. Leone whispered, yelled to everybody. Everybody looked at the man as his menacing violet eyes turned into a deep shade of blood red and was spinning wildly until it formed a pattern. It's him, Akame said out loud. Who is he, Akame? Mine, asked her leader. The Angel of Death, the deadliest assassin to ever live. Also known as the first immortal human. And the name means exactly what it means. He is an immortal, Akame said. This new information shocked everyone. He has lived longer than any of you, but you can't tell because he looks like he is 17 or 18. When he was young, he was known as a prodigy. His first kill at the age of 5, he became an highly trained ninja at the age of 6. These ninjas were known as Anbu. He quickly rose to the top and became a captain at the age of 7 and a commander at the age of 9. But that didn't stop him. He kept training until he was the strongest in the nations. His own leader in his village was terrified of his power because it kept growing. He became what was known as an SSS rank ninja. Akame stopped to see if they were paying attention. Everyone surprisingly was paying attention and was blocking out the screams in the background. Hell, the group even got huddled up close to each other like little kids at school listening to a story. Even Tatsumi was interested, but he had something on his mind, so he raised his hand like a child in school. Akame saw this and nodded to him, which was a way to tell him to go ahead and ask. Was he the only SSS ranked ninja or were there any others? He asked. This got everybody curious and wondering too. Akame began speaking again. No, he wasn't the only SSS ranked ninja. There were 3 before him. His grandfather on his mother's side was the first because of his extraordinary power to control wood. Just like how Death can control her ice. The second was his grandfather on his father's side, who was the rival to his grandfather on his mother's side. Unlike his grandfather on his mother's side, his grandfather on his father's side was strong enough to fight an whole army by himself. Don't get me wrong, his grandfather on his mother's side could do the same, but he didn't have the same power to do it. His grandfather on his father's side could control things by just looking into anybody's eyes. He could even do illusions that would be so real you wouldn't even know it. Then there is the third SSS rank ninja. His father. Not only was his father smart, he was fast. Very fast. Fast enough to decimate a whole 1,000 men in 5 minutes. Akame finished. The group looked shocked. I mean, who wouldn't? You just found out there was a man fast enough to kill basically a whole army in 5 freaking minutes. Then there is him, Akame started as she jabbed a finger behind her to show who she was talking about. Ah, how come she not dead yet? Everyone thought. Tilda, your screams of pain are making me feel warm inside. Stop please, the girl begged. We can't stop now, silly girl Tilda. We've just started. We haven't made it to the final course yet. I'm having Tilda much fun. How about you? Are you having fun with me, Tilda? Please, have mercy. Mod Tilda, sorry, all out of mercy, Tilda. The man stated with a sadistic tone, causing everyone to sweat drop at his antics. As I was saying, he was the youngest SSS ranked ninja in the world. At 13 years old he slaughtered 2,000 men for killing his uncle. Any army that came, he slaughtered. He barely used his full powers. He was judged for having a demon sealed inside of him and was beaten by men and raped by women on a daily basis. But that didn't stop him. It got to the point where he was strong enough to summon and become friends with the death god himself. It even got to the point to where they had to summon his grandfather from the dead to try and kill him. But in the end, well, you see him, don't you? Akame finished. The girls were in tears and the men had their heads down. Mama, oi Kame-chan, you done telling my story? A deep, smooth, melodic voice said. Everyone turned to see the giant of a man standing next to Akame. Akame jumped and squealed in surprise, causing the man to laugh. So did you guys enjoy the story? Yes? Okay then, well, let me introduce myself then. The man said as he walked into the moonlight. My name is Naruto Namikaze. Or if you want my whole name, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Uchiha Senju. And I am the first immortal human. I'm also known as the Angel of Death, the Fallen Angel of the Leaf, Shinigami's Angel, Anbu Commander Kitsune, you name it. The man now named Naruto stated. Why are you called the Angel of Death? Tatsumi asked. Kame-chan, you forgot to tell them that? Naruto asked. Akame simply nodded with an embarrassed blush on her face. Naruto chuckled. Foo. Well, I guess I'll show you instead of telling you. He stated. Everybody looked at him with a confused look until their eyes widened with surprise. How do you like my wings? Beautiful, aren't they? Naruto asked simply. How the hell do you have 20 fucking wings? Lubbock asked in surprise. Naruto just shrugged. One of the perks of being tall. He simply answered, causing Lubbock's eye to twitch. Is there something you need, Naruto-senpai? Akame asked. Senpai? Night Raid yelled in disbelief. Naruto chuckled. Ma, always straight to point as always. Well, I was going to send a letter. But where is the fun in that when I can come personally and see my adorable student? Naruto stated while petting Akame's head, causing her to blush. Student? Night Raid yelled again in disbelief. Naruto then took out 2 chocolate bars and gave one to Akame, which she quickly took, causing Naruto to laugh. I came here to tell you that I'll be joining Night Raid. Isn't that amazing, Kame-chan? Asked Naruto. Akame looked at Naruto with fear in her eyes. Whaattt? She yelled. Foo, this is going to be fun, tilde. Naruto stated with a sadistic smile. Thunder and rain. That is all you would hear if you were in the Leaf Village. Well, that's if you aren't asleep. There was a huge thunderstorm in Leaf Village. With a potential of flooding, everybody was urged to stay home. Well, that is, if you weren't a Jonin ninja, but other than that, every other ninja stayed home. Satsuki was asleep in the room that her and both Naruto share. She was spending the night with Naruto since she hated bad weather. Not only was she there, but Haku was there also. While Satsuki and Haku in Naruto's bed, Naruto was nowhere to be found. Why? Well, because he is the only one up. For some reason Naruto couldn't sleep in bad weather. It just brought bad memories back. Where to find Naruto, you may ask? Well, he is in large room with large music equipment. Why? Because Naruto is in love with music. Any type of music he will listen to it. He basically has his own music studio. His favorite instrument, the piano. We see him now playing the piano while smoking his daily medicine. Ever since he had brought Office, he would try to not smoke around her. He doesn't want his little girl picking up the same habit as him. Naruto only has a pair of black pants and socks on and his hair down, not in his usual ponytail. He has big glass of ice water sitting on the top of his piano. Finishing his blunt, he put it in a small tray and took a sip of his water. After swallowing the cold water, he took a deep breath and sighed and began to start playing. Toussaint? Naruto looked towards the door and saw his little girl. He smiled when he saw her with her favorite plushie in her hands, standing at the door with sleepy eyes. Haim, what are you doing up so late? He asked her. I can't sleep, Toussaint. She answered while walking to her father. Naruto chuckled. He then picked her and sat her in his lap. She snuggled into his chest. She then started to feel warm in her father's embrace. Toussaint? Can you sing me a song? If I sing this song, will you go to sleep? Hi, she said with a small smile. Naruto smiled down at her and kissed her forehead. Alright, here I go then. Naruto said as he began to play the piano. He played for a good 2 minutes until he began to sing. My lover's got humor. She's the giggle at a funeral. Knows everybody's disapproval. I should have worshipped her sooner. If the heavens ever did speak. She's the last true mouthpiece. Every Sunday's gettin' more bleak. A fresh poison each week. We were born sick. You heard them say it. My church offers no absolutes. She tells me, worship in the bedroom. The only heaven I'll be sent to is when I'm alone with you. I was born sick, but I love it. Command me to be well. Amen, amen, amen. Take me to church. I'll worship like a dog at the shrine of your lies. I'll tell you my sins, and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Oh good God, let me give you my life. Take me to church. I'll worship like a dog at the shrine of your lies. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Oh good God, let me give you my life. If I make pagan of the good times, my lover's the sunlight. Keep the goddess on my side. She demands a sacrifice. To drain the whole sea. Get something shiny. Something meaty for the main course. That's a fine-looking high horse. What you got in the stable? We've a lot of starving faithful. That looks tasty. That looks plenty. This is hungry work. Take me to church. I'll worship like a dog at the shrine of your lies. I'll tell you my sins so you can sharpen your knife. Offer me my deathless death. Oh good God, let me give you my life. Take me to church. I'll worship like a dog at the shrine of your lies. I'll tell you my sins so you can sharpen your knife. Offer me my deathless death. Oh good God, let me give you my life. No masters or kings when the ritual begins. There is no sweeter innocence than our gentle sin. In the madness and soil of that sad earthly scene. Only then I am human. Only then I am clean. Oh, amen, amen, amen. Take me to church. I'll worship like a dog at the shrine of your lies. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Oh, good God, let me give you my life. Take me to church. I'll worship like a dog at the shrine of your lies. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Oh good God, let me give you my life. Song. Take Me to Church by Hosier. As Naruto finished singing, he looked down to see his beautiful princess sleep. Ophis had fallen asleep by listening to her father's heartbeat. Naruto kissed her on the nose, which caused her to move a little, causing him to chuckle. Unknown to him, Satsuki was watching from the crack of the door with a smile on her face, and Haku was recording the whole thing. Naruto moved hair from his daughter's eyes and put it behind her ears. A blessing from Kami herself. I promise you, Ophis, nobody will ever harm you. I will do everything in my power to make sure of that. For you are my little girl. Daddy's little girl. Hey, I never thought I'd be saying that. You just don't know how much you mean to me, Ophis. You are my little light in the dark that will never go out. And I'm thankful to have someone like you in my life. Ophis Uzumaki. Naruto finished with tears falling from his eyes. Look at me. You got Dusan crying and you aren't even awoke. He chuckled. Satsuki and Haku were shedding their own tears. They could hear how much Naruto loved Ophis. You could hear the love dripping off his voice. Well, I'm glad there is a sofa in here cause I'm too tired to walk to room. I hope the girls won't be mad at me, he said nervously. He then began to walk to the couch with Ophis in his arms. Once he got to the couch, he laid down while Ophis laid on Naruto's chest, listening to his heartbeat. Naruto kissed his daughter on the forehead. Good night, little Heim, he said with a warm smile as he closed his eyes and fell into the world of dreams. Haku and Satsuki tipped into the room and kissed Naruto on the forehead, causing him to move slightly. Good night, Naru-kun, they both said. They did same thing to Ophis, which caused her to mumble something about donuts, which caused the girls to giggle silently. They both tipped back out of the room and closed the room gently. Once the door closed, Naruto's eyes opened and he had a smirk on his face. Good night, Haku-chan, Satsuki-chan. Naruto has finally closed his eyes and wrapped his arms around his daughter in a protective way, as he finally drifted into the world of dreams. Alright Gakis, listen up. For those who passed the first part of the Chunin exams, congratulations. Now welcome to my favorite part of the exams, my favorite place to visit, and the second part of the exams, Training Ground 44, or also known as the Forest of Death. Anko finished with a sadistic grin that sent shivers down some of the contestants' backs. We see Team 7, who surprisingly doesn't seem affected by Anko's grin, were minding their own business in their own little world. Sakura, who was playing with senbon needles, had on a white, long-sleeved shirt, with pink outlines on the sleeves, with a white coat that reached all the way down to her legs, that had Sakura petals at the bottom of the coat. On the back of the coat it had the kanji for Team 7 feet in pink. She also had white Anbu pants that showed her curves, that had pink outlines on the side of the pants, along with some white sandals. She also had her long hair in a ponytail with a pink ribbon, with her ninja headband tied around her forehead. All in all, she was beautiful, causing some of the boys to have nosebleeds. Satsuki, who was looking at the ring that Naruto gave her and thinking what should she cook tonight, had on black Anbu pants, with a long-sleeved violet shirt, with black ninja sandals. It wasn't a surprise that this type of clothing showed off her curves, that caused some boys to faint. She also had on a coat that was black and had purple tomos at the bottom of the coat. This coat also reached the back of her legs and also had the kanji for Team 7 feet on the back of it. Lastly, standing taller than all the genins, was Naruto, who had his eyes closed, sleeping. He had on a dark, black tank top that showed off his lean body and his muscles. He also wore black Anbu pants, and black combat boots with his grandfather's gloves. He had on coats similar to his father's, but it was black with blood-red flames that had the kanji for Forbidden Angel. He also had the huge sword that he made for Zabuza strapped to his back. A.N. If you don't know what it looks like just like Zabuza's blade, but the blade is made out of black chakra metal, with a black and blood-red hilt. Anko, seeing Naruto sleep, caused her eyebrow to twitch. The genins looked at him with questioning looks. Anko thought of something, then gained a sinister grin. She took a kunai, and threw it at Naruto at full speed, that the genins couldn't see. Time seemed to slow down as the kunai came to Naruto. With his eyes closed, Naruto caught the kunai between his fingers, as the kunai was mere inches away from his face. Naruto moved the kunai slowly away from his face and gave Anko a light glare that caused her to sweat a little. Naruto then took the kunai, and threw at tremendous speed that surprised everybody. As the kunai passed Anko's face, everybody saw the kunai go into the forest of death and split a tree in half. Anko and the genins looked at the tree with fear and turned to look at Naruto, but he wasn't there. It's not polite to try and kill someone while they're asleep, ya know? Especially since it's me. You should already know that Habiheim tilde. Naruto said, with a tri-pronged kunai to Anko's neck while amplifying his voice with chakra at the end of the sentence, making him sound like Kurama. If Anko wasn't scared now, well now she is, and so were the genins. Anko started trembling, regretting that she even through loved Naruto, she knew not make him pissed off. The things he could do when he was pissed off terrified her. Hell, whenever Naruto came into the torture and investigation facility, she never watched him because the things he did was inhuman. Sorry Naruto-kun, I was just trying to make sure if you're paying attention. Anko said with fear in her voice, which Naruto noticed. Naruto took a deep breath and sighed and removed the kunai from Anko's neck. He walked around Anko and stood in front of her. Just because I'm asleep doesn't mean I'm not paying attention. Just don't do that again, alright? Naruto said with warm tone as he wiped the blood from her cheek and used some medical chakra to heal the cut. Anko, who was taken back from his warm tone, blushed and held her head down, then nodded, causing Naruto to smile. He then turned around and walked back to his team. Anko cleared her throat and started talking with a slight blush on her face. In this forest you have 5 days to survive. Everything is allowed, and I mean everything. That goes for killing. Can I quit? This shit is a drag. No, you can't quit. Doing so will cause your whole team will be disqualified. Fucking troublesome. All I wanted to do is sleep and play shogi. Me too, Shikamaru. Me too. Naruto replied. What are we supposed to eat? Well, big boy, you can hunt animals and gather fruits and nuts. But be careful, there are man-eating beasts and poisons, berries and fruits in there also. Well shit. It's alright Choji. You guys will figure something out. Naruto said, trying to hold in his laugh after hearing his blunt response. Anko then went on to tell them on which scrolls they should get. If one team got an Earth Scroll, they should get an Heaven Scroll, vice versa. She then got them to sign a petition saying if they died it wasn't the Leaf Village's fault. In her words, if one of you little fuckers die, just know it isn't the Leaf Village's fault. If you are looking to blame someone, blame you, your dumbass sensei, and your village cage. It's your fault for coming, not training right, and not taking your training seriously, and you should have waited for another 6 months. It's your sensei's fault for bringing you here, not training you hard enough to push you to your limits, and not waiting for another 6 months. And it's your cage's fault for sending you, your team, and your dumbass sensei here knowing damn well you were going to die. So when you are about to die, think about that. Okay, Tilda? Saying this caused everybody to sweat drop at her bluntness. Everyone began to line up in front of the gate that they were supposed to be at. Oh, one last thing. There are cameras all over the forest. Which means you are being watched from all over the elemental nations. So I suggest you do your best and impress your village. So this is really like the Olympics? The fuck is the Olympics? I don't know. The word just popped up in my head. Face with raised eyebrow. Deadpan face. Okay, now, let the second part of the Chunin exams begin. Anko shouted. As soon as she said that, every team took off. Every team except Team 7. Alright girls, I'm going to need you to go and find the Heaven Scroll. There is someone in the forest that I must deal with. In other words, Orochimaru of the Sannin is here for you, Satsuki. He wants to use your body as a vessel so he can get your eyes, but I'm not going to let that happen. As soon as he sees that I'm not with you and Sakura, he is going to attack. That is why I put a Hirishin seal on you and Sakura. That way I'll make it there on time. I know I can teleport without, but that takes a little more time. And since I've mastered the Hirishin better than my father, I'll be there faster than the speed of light. Lure him in, and if he tries to fight, put him inside the best genjutsu you got. Now, I want you two to be careful. And don't do anything stupid. Naruto finishes as he kisses both of them on the forehead, causing them to blush. Promise us you'll stay safe as well, Naruto-kun. Sakura said with a hint of worry in her eyes. Naruto smiled. I promise I'll be safe. Now go. Hi, the girls said in a union. Sakura disappeared in a Sakura petal shunshin as Satsuki disappeared in a purple flame shunshin. Naruto looked at Anko and sighed. She really needs to stop eating so much dango, he thought to himself. Anko, he yelled, causing the purple-haired woman to look at him. Huh? Oh, what is it, Naruto-senpai? She asked with her head tilt to the side with cute confusing look on her face, causing Naruto to chuckle. Cover your ears, he said with smirk, causing her eyes to widen. She quickly dug in her pockets and pulled out some earplugs and put them inside her ears. She then dug inside her coat and pulled out a pair of sound-blocking headphones. She then put them on, then looked at Naruto with a dango stick in her mouth, smiling with a thumbs up. Naruto sighed, then smiled as he crouched down. He took a deep breath and looked at a leaf falling. As soon as the leaf hit the ground, Naruto's eyes flashed red, and then he took off, creating a sonic boom, breaking the sound barrier. The force of him taking off caused the trees behind him to uproot. Anko looked at where Naruto was previously standing with stars in her eyes. That shit was so fucking awesome. It never ceases to amaze me, starstruck, starstruck, starstruck. She yelled. 39 minutes after Naruto left. Well, that's 5 teams right there. Let's see who next, he said while swinging his blade around. A scream brought him out of his train of thoughts. Well, that's my cue, he thought to himself as he disappeared in a swarm of bats. As Naruto found the source of the scream, he looks down and sees a red-haired girl with glasses, surrounded by sound ninjas. Out of the 3 sound ninjas, the girl looked like she didn't want to be there. Kin, why are standing, kill her, said the one with bandages around his face. And why should I do that? She hasn't even done anything. Her teammates are dead, she has no scroll. Don't you think she's suffered enough? Kin stated, but was slapped with so much force that it sent her next to the redhead girl. Hey, stupid bitch, you should have just killed her. But I guess I'll just have some fun with the both of you, says an irrelevant motherfucker with metal gauntlets on his hands. He then begins to walk towards the girls, unbuckling his pants. Before he could take another step, a blade pierced him from behind, killing him instantly. The man with bandages looked at his teammate's killer with shock. I'll kill yo. Before he could finish, his head was in the air while his body laid on the ground. The killer, who turned out to be Naruto, looked at the 2 girls. Go to the tower. Keep going straight and you'll be there in about 30 minutes. Until then, Naruto stopped talking until he felt Satsuki add chakra to the Hirishin mark that he put on her shoulders. Get out of here now. The forest is too dangerous, be it right now, Naruto said in serious tone that held no arguments. The 2 girls nodded and took off. Naruto swung his blade to get the blood of his blade. He then took out his Anbu kitsune mask and put it on. Time to skin a snake, Tilda, Naruto thought with a dark smile as he activated his Sharingan and disappeared in a flash. As he got there, he saw something that pissed him off. Satsuki had a major cut across her stomach and small cuts across her body. Sakura was standing next to Satsuki with 2 stab wounds in her stomach and was barely keeping consciousness. He looked over and saw who was looking for Orochimaru with minor cuts over his body with bruises and was breathing heavily slightly. Naruto flashed step to the girls to make sure they didn't have the curse mark and thankful they didn't. He looked at them with his mask to the side of his face. He then hugged them but made sure that he didn't hug them too tight. "I'm so glad you girls are okay. Now rest," he said as the both closed their eyes. Naruto cut his thumb and started doing hand signs. Summoning jutsu. "Kuro, Shiro, Akame," he yelled. Smoke was in the area but cleared as strong winds blew it away. After the smoke cleared, Orochimaru was shocked. "The hell is that?" he thought with slight fear. There was 3 large animals behind Naruto. A large crow, that gave off an aura of death, stood the tallest out of the other 2 animals. The crow had menacing red eyes that stared deep into your soul. This was the crow Kuro, also known as the Crow of Death. A.N. Basically this is the same crow that would be seen next to Death himself. And also you all should remember what Akame looks like. A black fox with hints of red in her fur with blood-red eyes and with 2 tails. Next to Akame and Kuro was another fox named Shiro. This fox was white as snow, with icy blue eyes, and white tail with the tip of the tail being blue. "Kuro, if you don't mind, I would like for you to take these to the tower to safety. Shiro, shrink down to your smaller size and please heal them for me," Naruto asked. The 2 summoning animals looked at each other and nodded. Shiro shrinked to smaller size, as Akame used both of her tails to put the 2 girls on Kuro's back, and Shiro just hopped on Kuro's back and the 2 summoning animals were off. Naruto then looked at Akame. "Little sister, go to your normal size and deal with those snakes while I'll deal with this mongrel," Naruto said in pure hatred and anger that caused everyone in that area to flinch. Even the people who were watching at home in different parts of the elemental nations flinched. Naruto then put on his Anbu mask, which caused Orochimaru's eyes to widen seeing that mask. No, it can't be. The QB brat is him? Orochimaru thought in horror. Yes, Orochimaru. I'm him. Always have been, since I was 5. And today Orochimaru is the day I've been waiting for, Naruto said. He began to stand to his full height as his chakra began to rise exponentially, that it was felt throughout the whole forest and kept rising, shaking everything in the area. While his chakra was rising, the animals in the forest went into hiding. The clouds started to get darker, causing thunder to rumble and causing red lightning to dance in the dark sky. Crows with blood-red eyes started to fly around the forest, along with some bats that also had red eyes flew through the trees. Today is the day you pay for all of your sins. All the years you have tortured children just for your own gain. Children who could have been adopted into families and lived a normal life. But you mongrel, you took that away from them and caused them nothing but suffering and pain. I'm not like old man Hokage, I won't hesitate to kill you. But today, all the suffering you put them through, you shall feel that same suffering today. And I'll make sure you feel every last bit of their suffering. I will torture you the same way you tortured them. People like you make me sick to my fucking stomach. You tortured them just to get fucking immortality. Just so you can learn all of the fucking jutsus in the world? Naruto screams, releasing more chakra rivaling that of entailed beast. The first time ever in life, Orochimaru felt fear. His heart was racing, his body was trembling with fear, and sweating uncontrollably. Naruto then grabbed his blade and added chakra to it, causing it to have evil presence. Whispers were heard throughout the forest, causing Orochimaru tremble worse than he was before. Today Orochimaru, you won't only die by my hands. I have someone WHO has asked me to bring him to you for your little stunt of trying to gain immortality. Prepare to die, Orochimaru, Naruto said as he took off full speed and grabbed Orochimaru by the face and threw him with so much force that it caused Orochimaru to go through 5 trees, causing him to cry in pain. But Naruto wasn't done. He came full speed again, cutting Orochimaru's arm off, making him scream a blood-curdling scream throughout the forest. Then a black mist covered that area of the forest, which blocked Orochimaru's sight and smell. 1, 2, the devil is coming for you, 3, 4, heads rolling on the floor, 5, 6, souls burning in Satan's pits, 7, 8, meet me at the devil's gate, 9, 10, it's time to pay for your sins, Naruto screamed in a dark, demonic voice that echoed throughout the whole forest, freezing everyone in fear. Orochimaru at this point couldn't move due to being frozen in fear. "WW what A or why you?" Orochimaru asked with fear shown in his voice. "Oh me? Hee ha 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 ha. Well, since you asked so nicely, I guess I should tell you. Tilda, I am." Naruto said while laughing insanely. The forest got quite too quiet for Orochimaru. He started to panic. But he stopped as his blood ran cold. "I am the devil," Naruto said from behind Orochimaru with his blade raised above his head and brought it down in a swift motion and cut Orochimaru's other arm off, causing him to scream in pain as Naruto disappeared again, only to reappear a couple of feet in front of him as he started to do hand signs. As he was done, he slammed his hand together. "Thorn release black rose petals shuriken," Naruto said as black rose petals became sharp as chakra metal came full speed, piercing and going into Orochimaru's skin. At this point, Orochimaru was crying tears of pain. The poison in these rose petals started burning his cells. "Please, make it end already. I accept death, just please make it end already," Orochimaru stated while whimpering in pain. "Thorn release black coffin," Naruto said as a black-like coffin wrapped around Orochimaru. "Let me out, please. Just kill me already, I can't take it no more," Orochimaru yelled. Naruto raised his right slowly and then closed it. As he closed his hand, huge black thorns pierced through the coffin, piercing Orochimaru. Orochimaru couldn't even scream because he was too busy coughing up blood. "Thorn release black crucifix," Naruto said as a huge black crucifix rose from the ground. The coffin fell from Orochimaru, who looked like complete shit. I'm talking about shit. Dog shit. Straight up bullshit. I'm talking about when you wipe your ass and it be shit on the tissue type of shit. I'm talking. Brr. Sorry folks, we were having some technical difficulties. Take 2 clapperboard. As I was saying, Orochimaru looked like complete shit. Naruto walked up and grabbed Orochimaru and threw him against the crucifix. Naruto walked up to the crucifix and stared at Orochimaru, who was staring at night with fearful eyes. "Kill me, please." "Very well," Naruto said as he began to start doing hand signs. As he was doing, Orochimaru stared at Naruto with fear and curiosity until he heard something that made his heart drop to his stomach. "Summoning Jutsu Shinigami," Naruto finished saying. After he said that, the whole forest got insanely cold. The death god began to rise behind Naruto in all his glory, causing the whole forest to feel one thing. Death. "Yo, big brother Shinny. How's it going? Ah, Naruto-kun, how have you been, little brother? So tell me, about that foolish mortal who thought he could play God and become immortal. Where is he?" Shinigami asked in raspy, deep voice. "Oh, he's right here. I summoned you because I knew you would want his soul. So he is all yours, big bro," Naruto said as he scratched the back of his head, causing Shinigami to chuckle. "Very well, I'll deal with him right now," Shinigami said as he reached into Orochimaru's upper body, grabbing his soul, causing Orochimaru to scream in pain. Shinigami kept pulling and pulling until he had Orochimaru's soul in his grasp. He then opened his mouth and ate it as his soul is locked away in Shinigami's belly. "Well, Naruto-kun, I have to go. You know me, I have to do my boring god duties," Shinigami said in annoyance, causing Naruto to laugh at his big brother. "Okay bro, I won't keep you back from your work. I'll talk to you later." "Later, little bro," Shinigami said as he disappeared. Naruto looked at Orochimaru's body, and set it aflame with black flames and walked off to the tower. Everyone at home just witnessed the most terrifying thing ever. A genin was just communicating with the death god himself. But there was also something else shocking the elemental nations. Orochimaru of the Sannin is dead. So in other words, we are having an elimination round because there are too many teams? Correct, Naruto-kun. 27 teams. That's all was left. Kabuto team had forfeited but was escorted by Anbu to the interrogating room. A team from the Stone Village forfeited due to low stamina. And a team from the Mist Village forfeited due to having low stamina as well. Naruto noticed that the referee for this round was his mother's boyfriend, Hayate. Once he saw him, he nodded to him as a response to saying hello, in which he got in return was the same thing, a simple nod. Hayate went on how to explain on how this round will go on and such. But Naruto wasn't paying attention, so he zoned out until Hayate was done. All the fights are the same, so this is who made it to the finals. Satsuki, Sakura, Neji, almost a draw. Shikamaru, Tamari, Kankuro, Shino, Gaara, almost killed Kiba. Kuritsuchi, Samui, Yugito ni. For the preliminary rounds, can I please get Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze and Rock Lee to come down? With that, everyone looked at Naruto, who has been quiet throughout the whole preliminary rounds. Hearing his name, Naruto opened his and looked to his right at Lee. He nodded, then disappeared in black rose petals and reappeared standing to the right of Hayate. Yosh, it is finally my turn. Alright Lee, you have a youthful opponent, so you don't have to worry about holding back. Give us the best fight ever Lee, and give it your all. If you don't, I'll make run around the whole fire country 5 times. If I don't give it my all, I'll run 10 laps around the fire country. That's the spirit Lee. Guy-sensei. Lee. Guy-sensei. Lee. Ahem. Rock Lee will please come down so we can start. Ah, I'm coming Proctor-san, Lee replied. He then jumped down from where he was and landed perfectly. How are you doing Naruto-kun? I hope we enjoy ourselves during this fight. I'm doing well Lee, and I'm pretty sure that we will have the time of our lives. How about this Lee? I won't use no ninjutsu, no genjutsu, nothing. Just strictly taijutsu. How does that sound? Naruto asked with a kind smile, making Lee's eyes widen. You would really do that Naruto-kun? Lee asked on the verge of tears. Of course. It wouldn't be fair to my fellow comrade. Plus I would like to see how good you are in hand-to-hand combat. And please just call me Naruto. Naruto said with a small smile. Lee wiped the tears from his eyes. Thank you Naruto. You don't know how much this means to me. Lee said after wiping the tears away from his eyes. No need to thank me. Think of this as a way to start a friendship. Now Lee, let's give everyone the battle they have been waiting for. Yosh, this battle will go down in history. You damn right it will. Are both contestants ready? Hi, they both said in a union. Well then, let the final match of the preliminary rounds begin. Up in the stands, your student really is something Kakashi. To think that he would do that for Lee. Guy said, that's the type of person he is. Naruto has a lot of respect for people like Lee. People who don't give up because of one major setback and are willing to do anything to prove they can do the same thing and better even with that major setback. Both Lee and Naruto are the definition of never giving up. Kakashi said proudly. Such wise words from my eternal rival. Did you say something Guy? Damn you and your hip attitude. Are both contestants ready? Hi, looks like the fight is about to start Kakashi? Indeed. Well then, let the final match of preliminary rounds begin. Down in the fighting area, both fighters stared at each other. It was nothing but silence. Sweat was dripping from the side of Lee's face. Naruto's hand was twitching from excitement. As the sweat made its way from Lee's chin, everything went in slow motion. Both fighters' attention was on the drop of sweat heading to the floor. As the sweat got closer and closer to the ground, time seemed to slow down, everything was deadly quiet. Both fighters got into their fighting position. As if the drop of sweat was a way to say start, both fighters took off in fast speeds that shocked the people in the stands. The two fighters that clashed causing shockwave, then they disappeared again. In the stands, how the hell are they so fast? I can't barely see them? Kankuro yelled. Wow, Naruto-kun and Lee-san's speed is amazing. Sakura said with wide eyes. If you think that's their real speed, then all of you are surely mistaken. Kakashi said as Guy nodded, agreeing with his rival. Everyone looked shocked. Satsuki got out of her shock and asked, what do you mean that is not their full speed? What your sensei means Satsuki, Guy started. Both of them are not even touching the surface of their full speed. I'll explain Lee's speed and I'll let Kakashi explain Naruto's speed, alright? Guy asked the people in the stands as they all nodded. Guy then cleared his throat and began to talk. You see, Lee may look like he's fast right now, but right now, Lee has on weights on his legs, the same as me. Right now, is next to Naruto as the fastest genin in the elemental nations. Once Lee takes off his weights, he's become faster than most of our Chunin and some of our Jonin. Guy said, shocking everyone. So Kakashi, are you going to tell everyone about Naruto's speed? Guy asked. With pleasure, Kakashi said as he started to clear his throat. You see, Naruto is the true meaning of a speed demon. What most people don't know is that the Namikazes was known for their speed. They had an high affinity for lightning and wind. Instead of producing your normal bluish-white lightning, their chakra changed the color to an golden yellow. And they were the stealthy ninjas, good at seals but not as good as the Uzamakis. They were also known for making good weapons. Naruto is good in all these. Naruto is the first namikaze to ever have red lightning. Matter of fact, he is the only person to have that. He's a seal master, and is very good at making his own weapons. All namikazes were fast enough to break the sound barrier and create sonic booms. But one namikaze decided to push beyond that. He wanted to move at the speed of light. This namikaze was none other than Minato Namikaze, Naruto's father. Kakashi said. Everybody's eyes widened with shock and fear. The thought of having people faster than the speed of sound as enemies was scary to think about. Minato Namikaze, Kakashi continued, was the first man to surpass the speed of light. But because of his short life, he couldn't finish what he wanted. So Naruto started what his father couldn't finish. With hard work and motivation, Naruto is the fastest shinobi in all of the elemental nations, surpassing both the speed of sound and light. Naruto can teleport anywhere he wants as long as he has a feel of your chakra. So if you try to escape him, you'll be dead before you even try to run. With the speed he possesses, Naruto, if he wanted to, could wipe out an entire village. Kakashi said with a deadly voice. Hearing all this, everyone paled. That is why he is known as a speed demon. Kakashi finished. Boom. Ha 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 ha. Come on Lee, let's kick this up a notch. Take off those weights. Yash hhh. I shall take off my weights Naruto if you do the same. I know you have on weights too. Ha ha ha. Alright Lee, let's take them off and drop them at the same time, alright? Yas hhh. Let's do it. Lee yelled as he and Naruto began to take off their weights. Ready Lee, let's do this. Alright 1, 2, 3, drop them. They said at the same time as they both dropped them. What are weights going to do? Boom. What the hell? Ino yelled. These guys are monsters. Kankuro yelled while hanging onto the rail. Let's go Naruto. We shall give them a youthful fight. Lee said with fire in his eyes. Let's do this Lee. I haven't had this much fun in a while. Naruto said with stars in his eyes. Seems like he's having. Kakashi said while chuckling. I can't wait to see how this turns out. Back in the arena, Naruto took of and punched Lee into the wall. Lee recovered quickly, and came back full speed and punched Naruto in the stomach, causing Naruto to grunt in pain. Naruto then grabbed Lee's arm, pulling him closer, causing Naruto to punch him in the face. Lee yelled in pain, but Naruto wasn't done. He then kicked Lee in his side, causing him to skid across the floor. Lee didn't move, causing Naruto to look at for a second as he began to walk off. Wait Naruto, I'm not finished yet. I still have some tricks up my sleeves. Lee said, calling out Naruto. Oh goody. Naruto said as he clapped his hands together, causing people to sweat drop at his antics. I was going to be sad if our fun was over. But show me what you got Lee. Naruto said excitedly. Yosh, let's get ready for round 2. Lee said as he took a deep breath. First gate of opening open. Second gate of healing open. Third gate of life open. Fourth gate of pain open. Lee screamed, letting a whole lot of chakras shaking the room everyone was in. Ah shit, Naruto said. The next thing Naruto knew was that he had a fist in his face. Naruto was sent flying, but Lee wasn't done. Lee, with his fast movement, came behind Naruto and kicked Naruto in his back, causing him to spit out blood. Lee then used his fast speed to appear in front of Naruto and punch him in the gut, causing him to cough up more blood. Lee finally kicked Naruto in the face, sending him into a wall. While Lee did this, he fractured his leg in the process. Naruto, Satsuki yelled. In the stands, what the hell guy, you taught him the 8 gates? Kurenai yelled at him. Guy, I understand he can't use chakra, but the 8 gates? Don't you think that is a little too much? Asuma said, taking a puff of his cigarette. Don't question my teachings. If he couldn't handle it, I would have never have taught him the 8 gates. Lee has a good heart, and I know he won't use for evil ways, so I entrusted him with this. Guy said with pride. Kakashi, why aren't you saying anything? Aren't you worried about Naruto? Kurenai said angrily. Kakashi looked at her with a glare that made her flinch. I'm always worried about my little brother. Just shut up and watch. This fight ain't over yet. Hell, it's just getting started. Kakashi said with a smirk. In the fighting area, Proctor-san, you can call the match. I think he's not getting up anymore. Lee said as he began to walk away with a limp. The winner of this match is... Oh chush. The fucking hell mate? Fuckkkkk. Aw shit, I think I have some broken ribs. Aw man, my shirt is ripped. Pensive face. Well, guess I have to take it off. Naruto said while ripping the rest of his shirt off, showing his toned body, causing the women in the room to blush and have nosebleeds. Oi? Lee, the hell you think you going? We are not done here, you green beast of Konoha. How are you still standing? Lee asked, surprised and in shock. Plot. What? Nothing. Confused face. Relieved face. Well Lee, since you didn't hold back, I guess I should do the same. Naruto said as he closed his eyes and took a deep breath. First gate of opening open. Second gate of healing open. Third gate of life open. Fourth gate of pain open. Naruto yelled, shocking everybody in the stadium except Kakashi. In the stands. Kakashi, you taught him the 8 gates too? Guy asked with wide eyes and shock in his voice. Yes and no. Kakashi said simply. What do you mean yes and no? Kurenai asked with curiosity. Naruto just asked me about the 8 gates when he was younger. Naruto was eager to learn new things. His curiosity, learning new jutsus and creating jutsus, was similar to the way his father was eager to learn a new jutsu. In other words, I showed him the book of the 8 gates, he went to train on how to master them. Kakashi explained to the people in the stands. Just exactly how many gates can Naruto open? Guy asked with a little fear in his voice. Everyone looked at Kakashi, who had his head down, waiting for an answer. Kakashi took a deep breath and sighed, then looked up to everybody. He can open all of them. Kakashi said, dropping the bomb. Asuma's cigarette fell out of his mouth. Kurenai's face became paler than its original color. Guy stood there shocked. His blood ran cold and his heart to start to beat faster. It was then Guy realized that Lee couldn't beat Naruto. In the fighting area, you can open the gates too? Lee yelled in disbelief. Yep, Naruto said while smiling sheepishly. Naruto. Huh? Oh, what's up Kashi ni? Naruto said while his head tilted to the side with confusion, causing the girls to squeal silently. Open them all up. Huh? Are you sure? I wanted to have some more fun. Naruto said with his shoulders slumped. If you don't hurry up and open them, then I won't buy you that ramen with the new flavor. Kakashi said with a smirk. Naruto's head instantly shot up with a gleam in his eyes. Sorry Lee, no hard feelings, but I'm like Kakashi when it comes to his pervy books. I'll do anything for my precious ramen. No to end this fight. Naruto yelled. 5th gate of closing open. 6th gate of joy open. 7th gate of shock open. 8th gate of death open. Naruto yelled as a blood-red aura surrounded him. His black hair and turned blood like his mother's, and the chakra he was releasing started shake the entire building. Spider web-like cracks appeared everywhere on the floor from the amount of chakra surrounding the area. The blood-look aura he gave off and that was surrounding made him look like the devil. But Naruto wasn't done. 9th gate of rebirth open. As Naruto said this, the whole fighting area was covered in a bright golden yellow. Everyone covered their eyes, hoping that blinding light would stop. As it stopped, everyone looked to where Naruto was standing, but saw nothing but a dust cloud. The dust cloud then was blown away by strong winds. Naruto then came out, shocking everyone. His black hair, that red and golden yellow strands, was now golden yellow like his father's. His scars and tattoos was on full display. He had golden yellow aura around him, causing him to look like a majestic angel. Lee, seeing this, and figuring out that he had no way of beating Naruto, began to back away in fear. How did you get so strong? I trained very hard yesterday. You think you are being cute, Naruto? Lee, I'm adorable, Naruto said with a smirk. And now Lee, I have to finish this. Though it was fun while it lasted. Naruto said. Wait, Lee couldn't finish his words as his world began to get dark. Naruto was behind Lee with his fingers on his shoulder. The same finger he used to knock Lee out. Naruto then looked at Hayate and nodded, which he did in return. Since Rock Lee has been knocked and can't continue to fight, the winner is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Hayate said, which caused Kakashi to smile since his whole team is going to the finals. Can I please get the finalist down here? Hayate asked as all the finalists came down. Since the Hokage isn't here, I'm going to keep it short. You have 1 month to train for the finals. Use it wisely. In this part of this exam, you can become a Chunin even if you don't win. But, in order to do that you have to give it your all if you want to become a Chunin. And then there is that possibility that everyone won't become a Chunin. So train as hard as you can. Good luck and make your villages proud. And before you go, draw a number from the box. If you have the same number as someone, that is who you are fighting, and it determines who fights first, second, third, and so on. Now everyone grab a number in the box and don't cheat or you'll get disqualified. Hayate said in a deadly voice. He then looked around and stared at the numbers in the contestants' hands. Alright, these are the fights. Sakura vs Kuritsuchi, Satsuki vs Samui, Shikamaru vs Tamari, Shino vs Kankuro, Neji vs Yugito Ni, Naruto vs Gaara. Hayate finished. Now go home and get some rest. You need after this long and eventful day, Hayate said as he disappeared. Naruto then looked at Satsuki and Satsuki looked at him with confusion. What? She asked. Catch me. Wah, she replied as she caught Naruto. She smiled and moved the hair away from his face. Baka, you're always overdoing it. Get some sleep, Naru-kun, she whispered while kissing his forehead. By Rio_Senpai, so you thought it was a good idea to attack me while I was here with my daughter? No. Please, have mercy. Sorry. All out of mercy. A few hours earlier. Phew. I really needed that shower after that tough workout. Now the question is what I'm going to do now. Naruto thought. We see Naruto walking around the Namikaze, Uzumaki compound, lost in thought, thinking about what he should do. After the preliminary rounds, Naruto would constantly train to keep his mind off of things. They had a month to recover and train to their fullest. Naruto, who just got finished with training, was bored and didn't know what he wanted to do. Should I just sit and rest today? Nah, I can't sit down for long periods of time. Should I go over to Shikamaru's house and play shogi? Nah, he's probably asleep. The fuck I'm supposed to do? He thought to himself, but he was brought out of his thoughts once he heard a certain voice. Daddy? Why are you up so early? A voice from behind Naruto said. Naruto turned quickly and looked down to see his daughter, who had on a shirt that was too big for her, with her dragon plushie in her hands while she is trying to get the sleep out of her eyes. Naruto smiled and crouched down to pick his daughter up. He then began to walk the furniture and sat down as he sat his daughter in his lap as she snuggled up in his chest. Ophis, it's only 7:30 in the morning. That's still too early to san. Ophis replied with a deadpan look, causing Naruto to chuckle. Naruto stopped and thought about something, which caused him to have an idea. After making up his mind, he nodded to himself and began to talk to his daughter. Hey Ophis, go get dressed. I'll have breakfast ready when you are done. Don't forget to brush your teeth, he said. Okay to-san, she replied innocently with a cute smile. Naruto smiled a fatherly smile and kissed his daughter on the forehead. Okay, now up you go, he said as he put Ophis down on the floor. As soon as her foot touched the floor, she took off to her room, causing Naruto to laugh at her antics. That girl, she reminds me so much of how I used to be, he thought while smiling. Time skip. So where are going today to-san? Ophis asked curiously. Today we are going to waterfalls to unlock your chakra, Naruto replied back to his daughter. He and Ophis were walking through the forest of death. While Naruto was doing most of the walking, he didn't mind giving his daughter a piggyback ride. Ophis, being the curious girl she is, started asking questions that were on her mind. To-san, where are Suki-chan and Haku-chan? She asked while nibbling on a piece of chocolate. Well, Satsuki is training with Kakashi for the finals of the Chunin exam, and Haku has been working at the hospital lately since she wanted to become a medical ninja. He answered while biting a chunk out of his own chocolate bar. He then stopped and looked to see that they had made it to the waterfall. We are here, Ophis. Time skip. Now we can unlock your chakra, Ophis, Naruto said with a small grin. He and Ophis had just got done stretching and Ophis didn't like it one bit. Her father was an absolute training demon. The things he did would make Guy go pale. 101 handed push-ups on 2 fingers. Lucky for Ophis, she only had to do 50 push-ups. But it was still a lot for a 5-year-old girl. Now Ophis, Naruto said to get Ophis' attention. To do this you will have to sit down and concentrate. While you are doing this, you need to relax your body. Search for your chakra and once you found it, grab it. Sounds easy enough? Naruto asked after explaining it to her the easiest way possible for a 5-year-old. Hi to-san, she said to her father with an innocent smile. She then sat and did what her father told her to do. While she was doing that, Naruto did a single hand sign and made a clone. "Watch her till I get back. I have to go do something." Naruto commanded the clone, which the clone nodded in response. Once Naruto got an answer from his clone, he disappeared in a tricolored flash which consisted of blood red, black, and golden yellow. With Naruto. Once Naruto got to his destination, which wasn't far, he pulled out a joint, which consisted of his medicine, and put it in his mouth. He took out a lighter and lit his joint and took a puff. He didn't want to be around his daughter while he was smoking as he was afraid that she would pick up his habit. 1 month till the finals. There are some things I need to improve. I have already improved my father's Hirishin technique to the point where I don't need the kunai. So I made my own teleportation seals and put them on my 3 katanas and Uncle Zanbaza's sword. I just recently awoken my Mangekyo Sharingan. I have to find out my techniques to it. Oh well, I can think about that later. Right now I need to focus on Office. He thought. He was brought out of his train of thought when he felt a chakra rise that was high genin level. Well. Seems like my little Office has some raw potential. Well, let's go see how she's doing, he said as he disappeared in flock of bats. Once he got there, he saw his daughter still sitting down concentrating while a beautiful violet chakra surrounding his daughter. He stared at her with a smirk on his face. After 3 more minutes had passed, the chakra that was surrounding Office disappeared. She opened her eyes and began to breathe heavily. She looked at her father, who was smiling warmly at her, and started to talk. "I did it too, San. I did it just like how you wanted me to," she said, almost fainting but kept fighting it. Naruto nodded and was about to say something when a kunai was coming full speed at his daughter. He took running towards his daughter and yelled at her to move. "Damn it, I won't make it in time," he thought as his eyes turned into his Mangekyo Sharingan. The kunai kept getting closer to his daughter's head and one thought ran through Naruto's head. "Akanito Pusha," Naruto said out loud as everything around him stopped except for him. Naruto saw that the kunai had stopped as well and got his daughter out of harm's way. After 5 seconds, everything began to move again and the kunai landed in the ground. Naruto then looked down and saw his daughter unconscious. He made a clone and ordered the clone to take Office to Naomi's house. The clone then nodded and disappeared in Shunshin. Naruto raised up to his full height with his eyes covered by his 2 bangs of hair. Then 4 shinobi jumped down from the trees. All 4 were men. They were from the stone village. All 4 men had smug looks on their faces as they started cursing Naruto. Naruto started chuckling. Soon that chuckling turned into a dark, demonic, deranged laugh. The stone ninjas began to back up, but before they could, Naruto spoke in deep voice that sounded too much like Madara's voice. "To think that old goat would have the balls to attack someone precious to me. And I thought my grandfather and old man got through that thick skull of his. Well, it seems I have to send my own message and I know exactly how to send it," Naruto said as he raised his hand up as black thorns raised from the ground and impaled 3 of the ninjas through the heart. The other ninja just looked at Naruto with fear across his face. He blinked and opened his eyes to see Naruto in his face with his Mangekyo Sharingan activated. Naruto grabbed him by the neck and raised him in the air, choking the man, slowly crushing his windpipe. "So you thought it was a good idea to attack me while I was here with my daughter?" Naruto questioned the man with killing intent rising by the minute. "No, please. Have mercy," the stone shinobi begged with tears falling down his face. "Sorry, all out of mercy," Naruto replied with an evil smile. He then thought of idea, then his smile became more demonic. "Although, before you die, I want you to send a message to your message leader for me." "Okay, Tilda," he asked, which caused the stone ninja to nod rapidly. "Splendid. I will promise you a quick death for being so generous. Now this is what I want you to tell him," Naruto said as he put the man in trance with the Sharingan while telling the man his message. 4 hours later, there was an old, short man, with questionably large nose, staring out of his building waiting for the arrival of the ninjas he sent on a mission to assassinate the Namikaze brat. This man was known as Onoki, the Tsuchikage of the village hidden in the stone. The old man was brought out of his thoughts when heard a knock on the door. "Enter," he said. Once the door opened, Onoki realized that 3 of his ninjas were missing. "Where are the other 3? He asked, not wanting to hear that his shinobi has been killed by that Namikaze brat. "They were killed in action, sir," The ninja answered to his leader. Then why the hell are you here? Onoki yelled. He wanted me to send you a message. The ninja responded almost like a robot, which put the old man on edge. What kind of message? Onoki asked as he stared at the ninja curiously. The old man's eyes widened when he saw his ninja change into the Sharingan but disappeared. No, it can't be. The ninja raised his hand and began to glow. He said, Kai. The ninja said as a lot of explosive tags that was all over his body started explode, blowing up the whole Tsuchikage tower to nothing. The explosion was so loud and strong that it shook the whole village while destroying most of buildings that was near the Tsuchikage tower. A bright light started to show under the rubble as it started to the rubble into nothing. As the light down, there stood the old man, fuming with anger and hatred, as blood was dripping from his head. A scroll then dropped down in front of him out of nowhere. He looked up and saw a crow flying over him. Realizing that it was the crow to drop the scroll, he then picked it up and opened it. As he was reading the scroll, he started to shake with anger. He threw the scroll as another thing fell from the sky. This time it was a bag. Not thinking, he got the bag and opened it, which he wished he shouldn't have did. In the bag was the ninjas' heads that he had sent on the mission. Onoki then yelled out in anger. Curse you, Naruto Namikaze. Once I get my hands on you, I will have your head on a stake. He yelled in anger.